Today's episode is brought to you by thisdayinthenfl.com. Celebrating football's greatest moments, one day at a time. Listen to classic broadcasts, explore historic games, and keep the legacy of the NFL alive at thisdayinthenfl.com.
Set to go for this one. Lonnie Perrin putting the ball on the tee. The Broncos will be defending the goal to our left here inside at the Astrodome. Very windy, but very warm here in Houston. It won't matter in here. The temperature is constant, but it's about 80 degrees outside, but very windy here in the Houston area and quite cloudy. We're set to go, and here's Bob.
Billy Johnson and Mike Voigt are the deep men. Johnson is at the goal line. Voigt, rookie, is standing at the 5-yard line, and Perrin kicks it along the ground. The ball is knocked down and bounces back to Voigt inside the 12-yard line. He's over the 20 and brings it out to the 22-yard line. The ball was batted down by Willie Alexander. Godwin Turk makes the tackle with Rob Nairn. And the Oilers will start from their 23 as we take 10 seconds for station identification on the Denver Bronco Network.
News on the hour from CBS and from Denver.
Oilers come out in a double tight end. Giles is the other tight end. They send Burrow left, have just one setback. Carpenter behind Pastorini. Now shift Johnson wide right, give the ball to Carpenter, and he is straight ahead for about 5 yards. Oilers giving the Broncos a little different look at the line of scrimmage. Reuben Carter makes the tackle on the first play. Last week, in the first play against Kansas City, they threw a touchdown pass to Burrow. It'll be a 2nd and 5.
They had their best day rushing ever, and they would certainly like to use the old cliche, establish the ground game here today. They've got a couple of good running backs in Carpenter and Coleman. Both went over 100 yards last week.
Again, Carpenter is the only setback behind Pastorini as they come to the line of scrimmage. Burrow left. Johnson is a wing to the right side. Starts in motion, and the handoff is to Carpenter. Starts left, cuts back inside, and has the first down at the 36-yard line. Tackled by Randy Gradishar.
Good blocking up in front got him the hole, and he just sort of spun through it and spun around Gradishar, who got a hand on him, and really not a good sound tackle, but the hole was certainly there, and he came through it very well, and Gradishar made sure that he was down. Really didn't tackle him too much. He sort of bounced off Gradishar's hip.
Houston is 10th offensively. The Broncos are 11th. Denver right now is 4th defensively, number 1 in the league against the run. Oilers at the 36-yard line. First down of the ball game. And the pitch is to Carpenter, starting to the right side. Gets out to the 40. Tackle is by Tom Jackson of the Broncos. And right now, Larry, we watch the Oilers in just a different formation with 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and 1 setback. And, of course, what they do is they line up one of those receivers behind the line of scrimmage so he could qualify as a back, but just 1 setback.
Spread your defense out a little bit because you got to go out there and pick up those people.
2nd and 6. Carpenter bouncing off behind the line of scrimmage, coming left across the 45, first down at the 47-yard line. Alzado makes the tackle.
Well, that was an excellent run by Carpenter, who found the hole stacked up. As a matter of fact, he hit one of his own blockers. He rolled off that and got to the outside. He's a big guy. And a rookie, Rob Carpenter from Miami of Ohio, 6'1", 214 pounds.
Alzado and Thompson making the tackle. It is the 2nd first down for the Oilers. They are at the 46-yard line. Give us the same look, only it's Foster in motion to the right now. Long count by Pastorini. Back to throw. Dumps off to Carpenter, right flat, 45 to the 50, into the Bronco 49-yard line. Oilers just working methodically. Joe Rizzo makes that stop for Denver. Pastorini's first pass of the game is good for 5 yards and moves the ball to the Broncos side of the 50. 3 minutes into the game, no score, first possession. Ball is at the Bronco 49. Carpenter again is the only setback. Line Foster up as a wing right, Burrow left. Foster starts in motion again. And Burrow to the left side as the Broncos show a blitz. Pass back to Carpenter, and he comes left and is swarmed on as he gets to the Denver 46-yard line. It will be third and a couple. Billy Thompson getting into a shoving match with Jimmy Giles. The pitch back to Carpenter. Bob Swenson is the first man in on the tackle. Now Houston is at the Bronco 46-yard line with a 3rd down and 2. Good coverage that time by Denver.
Gradishar stunted right up to the line of scrimmage and was ready to blitz. He did not do it when he saw the flow of the play.
Same look. Foster in motion to the right. 3rd and 2 at the Denver 46. Foster sets. Pitch to Carpenter. Running to the right side. Cuts and a flag downfield. He is tackled short of the first down, but there is a marker upfield. Tom Jackson makes the tackle. Let's see what the flag is for at the Bronco 36-yard line.
Tom got a hand on the ankle, didn't seal the tackle. He got some help from Rizzo and Gradishar afterward, but it was really Jackson chasing him that was responsible.
Illegal procedure on the Oilers. The ball is short of the 45-yard line, so the Broncos have a decision to make. Do they want it 4th and a yard and a half, or do they want it 3rd and 7?
I suspect they'll make it 4th and a yard and a half.
That play only gained a couple of feet. Let's hear it from referee Chuck Eberling. Yep, decline the penalty. We don't hear it from Chuck Eberling. Field microphone not working at the moment. Rick Upchurch going back. Punting team on the field for the Oilers.
And now Upchurch will get his first opportunity. We're going to watch this battle of punt returners today. We'll keep that statistic for you on the punt returns between Billy White Shoes Johnson and Rick Upchurch.
Cliff Parsley, the rookie from Oklahoma State, does the punting for the Oilers. Pastorini is always available, but Parsley is up around a 40-yard average now. Upchurch waits at the 10. Broncos have 10 men at the line of scrimmage. Parsley waits at his own 40, gets the snap back, and kicks a fairly low one. Upchurch over it at the 11, 15, trying to reverse. Upchurch at the 20, 25, 30, out to the 35, still on his feet over the 40, 41-yard line. Rick Upchurch with a return of over 30 yards on the punt, and the Broncos will take over outside the 40-yard line after a timeout. 10 minutes, 35 seconds left in a scoreless first quarter, and we'll return in 1 minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Have you ever turned off the ignition on your car, but the engine keeps running and running and the body shakes and vibrates? That's called run-on, and it's caused by post-ignition inside the cylinders. When your car keeps running on like this, it's a sign it may need higher octane to perform the way it should. Now Standard introduces new Amoco Premium Lead-Free, the higher octane lead-free gasoline with higher octane than typical unleaded gasolines. Higher octane than regular leaded gasolines, too. Try a tankful. It could make a difference. If you don't have the problem of engine run-on, use lead-free Amoco, the Midwest's best-selling lead-free. Standard is the lead-free leader. And now Standard offers you 2 lead-free gasolines. New Amoco Premium Lead-Free in the Gold Pump and famous lead-free Amoco in the Blue Pump. You'll find this choice of lead-free gasolines at your independent Standard Oil dealer. Because you expect more from a leader.
Okay, 31-yard punt return by Rick Upchurch. Gets the Broncos up just short of the 41-yard line. We'll call it the 41. So Denver has good field position for their first possession. Houston held the ball for just about 4.5 minutes, but ultimately had a punt from the area of midfield.
Wide right. And the handoff is to Rob Lytle. Starts to the right side and stacks up after a couple of yards. Gets it to the 43-yard line. Curly Culp makes the tackle for the Oilers. And if you missed it earlier, Otis Armstrong is on the inactive list. He's on the sidelines. He is not suited up, will not play. He and Larry Riley are the inactives for the Broncos. Houston's inactives today are rookie quarterback Tom Donovan from Texas Tech and Rich Soles, the veteran defensive back from Alcorn, put in most of his time with the Jets. Second down, over 8 yards to go for the Broncos from the 42-yard line. Both receivers wide left. Lytle starts in motion to the right. Perrin is the only setback. Now Lytle stops, sets at the right side. Handoff Perrin straight ahead, and he goes nowhere. James Young waits for him at the line of scrimmage and makes the tackle. Melvin Bethea, the fine defensive lineman of the Oilers, out for the season with an injury. Now Denver with a 3rd down and close to 9 yards to go.
James Young, an interesting story. He's a 27-year-old rookie from Texas Southern. He was a fireman here in Houston and tried out for the team, and he's playing.
3rd down and 9, short of the 42-yard line. Bronco ball, Dalvin right, Moses left, Morton back to throw, steps up, throws, it is batted down, incomplete for Dalvin at the 46-yard line, covered by Mike Reinsfeld, the strong safety, who knocked the ball away. The Oilers have held, and the Broncos will have to punt.
And I think you can tell from the crowd reaction here, this is a fired-up Houston crowd. They've been looking forward to this one, to play the team with the best record in the National Football League, the Broncos with 10-1. And as I said, the Oilers very much in that Central Division race. All 4 of those teams are in the race. The Steelers playing Seattle today, they know they can't afford to mess up today.
Dilts with a 38.6 average will be punting. Johnson waits at the 18-yard line. Oilers have 10 men at the line of scrimmage, which is the Bronco 42. Snap back to Dilts, kicks it high and deep. Johnson backs inside the 15, has it at the 9-yard line, trying to run left, now reversing, back to the 5, chased by Jensen to the goal line. He is still on his feet and slammed down in the end zone. Now the question is, whose momentum put him there?
There's a flag down,
There's a flag for a clip out at about the 8-yard line as Johnson reversed, but the Broncos make the tackle on him at the 1. Jim Jensen made the tackle, a 48-yard punt by Dilts, and a clipping against the Oilers. Johnson is down at the 1-yard line as Jensen pursued him inside the 10. And Larry, that's one time when Johnson would have been better off just to eat the football.
Exactly.
The Broncos had him surrounded. He tried to make something out of the play, and what he made was a disaster. Now half the distance to the goal line.
Some people might wonder why it isn't a safety. Well, actually, Jensen pulled him. We're still not getting the referee, I don't believe, but Jensen actually pulled him into the end zone, Bob, and that's the reason why it's not a safety. He's out on the field, and that's where they'll mark the ball now at half the distance to the goal line. The penalty, however, being declined, so it's right down on the goal line. There is a timeout on the field, no score. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Denver Bronco Network.
By now, almost everybody knows about some of the things you can do to cut down the heating fuel consumption in your home. These include improving your insulation, weather stripping, caulking, and adding storm doors and windows. But Public Service Company wants you to know there are little things you can do that will also help reduce energy use. For example, try to see to it that your thermostat is kept out of cool air drafts. This will result in your furnace continuing to run even after your house is warm. If you have any unused rooms in your house, shut their doors and close their heating vents. Also, be careful not to block heating vents with furniture or drapes. Baseboard heating units need full air circulation to operate properly. And even the placement of trees can make a difference. Trees and shrubs can protect your house from the wind, preventing drafts and the resulting heat loss. These are just some of the small ways in which you can reduce energy consumption. Public Service Company hopes you find this information useful.
Well, this is a made-to-order situation for the Bronco defense. They have Houston pinned back inside the 1-yard line to start this series of downs. And believe me, after they stepped off half the distance to the goal line, which is about 3 inches, the edge of that ball is right on the goal stripe. So that's where Pastorini has to put it in play.
Oilers send 2 receivers wide right. Now use 2 running backs, Carpenter and Coleman. Everyone's lined up in the end zone. The ball is about a half yard out after the penalty. Handoff Carpenter straight ahead for a couple of yards. Gets a little working room, but that's about it. Alzado and Swenson pinch him off. Carpenter is the only man who has carried the ball. Picked up 27 yards so far. By the way, our statistician today is Bobby Anderson. Tried to get Bobby to suit up when we found out that Otis would be inactive.
He's ready.
Sure. 2nd and 8, just short of the 3-yard line for the Oilers. Scoreless first quarter. Long count by Pastorini, and there's all kinds of movement at the right side of the line as Pastorini goes back to pass. Conway Heyman jumped up a little soon, it appeared, and the Broncos pounced. It's on the Oilers.
We have one score, this out of the National Conference. The St. Louis Cardinals 7, the Giants nothing in the first period. Cardinals still bidding for that wild card spot in the NFC East. Dallas is the only team so far in the NFL that have clinched a spot. Still microphone troubles from Mr. Heberling. They worked on it during the timeout, and it's still not working, but they're penalized back to the 1-yard line, half the distance.
2nd and 9. Broncos, needless to say, take the penalty. Foster and Burrow wide right. 2nd and 9 from the 1 for the Oilers. 48-yard punt by Dilts. Setting this up, Pastorini to throw it from the end zone. There's the pass, a fingertip catch at the 20-yard line. Out to the 23-yard line is Mike Carver, the tight end. And a big play by the Oilers as Bernard Jackson of the Broncos makes the tackle at the 24. Carver, the tight end, making the reception. It is only his 7th catch of the year, but that's a big one when you are 2nd and 9 at your own 1.
Oh, I'll say, just a good call by Pastorini. He had to deliver in a hurry and a fine route, and the Oilers are out of trouble for the moment.
Coleman and Carpenter continue as the running backs, both receivers wide right. First down at their 24 for the Oilers. Pastorini again takes his time on the count. The Carpenter cut back out over the 30 to about the 31 or 2-yard line. Steve Foley makes the stop. The Oilers have been sending a lot of the motion and the action to the right side, and that cutback against that green brings Carpenter almost 8 yards on the run out to the 32-yard line.
Now, the Broncos had a little stunt going on there, and Pastorini watched it, and I'm not too sure whether or not he might have audibilized and sent the runner right through that hole where they opened it up.
Paxson and I for the first time. 2nd and 2 at the 32. Used Coleman as the tailback behind Carpenter. Pitch to Coleman, coming to the left side. He cuts out to the 34, loses the ball as he's down on the ground, but they had already blown it dead. Alzado makes the tackle. The fumble by Coleman came after he was down. He's down near the 34-yard line, close to a first down, and they are taking a look at it, bringing out the chain.
And it's going to be a first down by half a ball's length. That's the 4th for the Oilers. And we have only 6 minutes and 48 seconds left to go in this first period. And Houston has dominated the football. Denver's been able to run only 3 offensive plays.
Well, the Oilers have 66 yards and the Broncos have 1. But the score is 0-0, and now the Oilers have a first down at their 34. Change the look. Send Coleman left as a wingback. Again, Carpenter the only setback. Handoff Carpenter out over the 35 to the 38 or 9-yard line. Tackle by Gradishar. Oilers just trying to pound away. And, of course, while all of the Bronco interest has focused on Denver's situation in that tightly bunched Central Division, the Oilers are not out of it. This game is every bit as big to them as it is to the Broncos. One game behind the Steelers with 3 to play. 2nd down, 5.5. Pastorini, this time to Coleman. Coleman, the tailback, to the 42-yard line. Just straight ahead. Alzado making the tackle again for the Broncos. I don't know anyone who is in love with this surface at the Astrodome. If you paint your driveway green, you have the effect of the floor here.
This was the original one, of course. When they first built this structure, they tried to grow grass, and that didn't work. So they had to come up with something, and that was the birth of AstroTurf.
3rd and 2 at the 42. Receivers right. Foster inside of Burrow. Baxton and I. Coleman starts to shift. Shifts back. Gets the pitch coming to the left side. Over the 50 and down at the Broncos 49-yard line. Bernard Jackson making the tackle for Denver. They put Tim Wilson, rookie from Maryland, in at the other back to help block. Coleman almost messed it up before the snap.
Yeah, but one of the problems the Broncos had there, to be perfectly honest, was a little shoddy tackling, and they're not usually guilty of that. Swinson, for example, had a shot, tackled him a little bit too high. Gradishar had a shot at him. He let him roll away from him, and then Bernard Jackson finally had to come up to make the tackle.
Oilers are back at the Bronco 49-yard line. Another first down, their 5th. Revert to the T, same backs. This time the pitch is Wilson trying to go wide to the right. He is at the 45, struggling to the 44-yard line, with Tom Jackson making the tackle, close to 5 yards.
Barney Chavis got over there to turn him into Jackson, and Tom steal the tackle on the far side, but Houston continues to roll up yardage as they're knocking them off in 4 or 5 yards at a crack. That was Wilson's first carry, but Carpenter in 8 carries has gained 40 yards. Coleman in 3 carries has gained 24.
Wilson, 6'3", 220. Rookie from Maryland. He is the up back in the I. Coleman the tailback. Both receivers, Foster and Burrow, to the lefts now. At the Denver 44, second down 5. Handoff Wilson straight ahead to the 40. Joe Rizzo was the tackler at the 40, and the Oilers have third down about a half a yard. Houston ran for almost 300 yards against Kansas City last week, and of course you have to take into consideration the fact that Kansas City has been less effective against the run than any other defense in the league this year, but right now the Oilers are getting some good yardage against the Broncos.
Number 1 against the rush in the conference.
And question raised about whether or not there should be a measurement. Pastorini has asked for one.
The Broncos have made one change, Bob. They've put Grant in and taken Rizzo out, so they've got the extra down lineman.
Carpenter is back in for the Oilers. They also put Giles, the tight end, back in. Measurement shows the Oilers that it's third down and a foot.
They have now changed that St. Louis New York Giants score. It's the Giants 7 and the Cardinals nothing in the first period. It's the only score we have. This is the early game here, and we have about 3 or 4 others starting about the same time.
Very fast first quarter. 3 minutes left here. The Oilers at the Bronco 40, third down and half a yard. Tight formation. Coleman moves out of the tailback. Coleman and Campbell are running backs, and it is to Campbell, and he is thrown back by Randy Gradishar as he tries to go over the top of the stack. He is thrown back. May even have lost a half a foot.
Swenson was in there, so was Carter, and watching as they unstacked. So was Chavis, and so was Louis Wright. It was Gradishar that just jumped on the top of the stack to make sure that he couldn't come over the top of it. So a good defensive play by the Bronco defenders, and they have been stopped up. Still about a half yard short of the first down, and this is the second time right in this portion of the field that the Broncos have stopped them up. The battle between Johnson and Upchurch, 31 yards. Upchurch in his return, -9 for Johnson.
4th and 1. Parsley to punt. Upchurch waits at the 10. Parsley at his own 45. Gets the snap, kicks it toward the near side. Fair catch signal, and Upchurch lets it hit. It's heading for the goal line, and it'll be a touchback. So the Broncos will take it at the 20-yard line. 2 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score in Houston. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Like a mountain morning sunrise coming slowly through the trees. Like an eagle when it spreads its wings across the blue sky breeze. It's all that's big and bold and free. Come taste the great outdoors. It's a part of what you're dreaming. Make it yours. Make it cool. For we taste the morning sunshine. Make it cool. Make it right for you and me. Taste the wide open sky. Taste the Rocky Mountain High. Make it cool. Make it cool. Make it yours. Make it cool. Make it cool. Make it yours.
We talk from time to time about how important the kicking game is and the special teams, and it's rather interesting to note that the 2 punters in this game this afternoon, Bucky Dilts and Cliff Parsley, are both rookies. And, of course, Parsley last week got his average right up around the 40 mark. I watched him play at Oklahoma State, and he's indeed a good one, but Bucky Dilts has done a great job for Denver.
And, Larry, it's interesting that they are tied for third in net yardage, which is the key statistic.
Right.
Broncos come out with a different look, now shifted. Perrin and Lytle the running backs, starting from the 20-yard line. It's Lytle, and he is grabbed as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He'll have a yard at the most. Robert Brazil, the linebacker, up to make the play.
This Houston defense, without question, is fired up. That's only the 4th offensive play in the game for the Broncos, and we have only 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Broncos had the ball once and ran 3 plays and had a punt. Houston has controlled it the rest of the time, but mostly moving it in their end of the football field and have not been able to sustain it against Denver.
Moses right, Upchurch left. Lytle lines up as a wing to the left side, shifts back, and Perrin moves around to a wing at the right. Upchurch going wider left, 2nd and 10. Morton back to throw, and he will take the sack at about the 12-yard line. Call it the 11. Kennard was there to make the sack, although the first one in was James Young again. And as Morton looked up, there was nowhere to go. Loss of 9 yards, and Denver will have a 3rd and 19 from the 11.
Yeah, Young was coming in on the left, but really was taken out of the play, and I'm not sure Craig realized that. I don't think Young was going to get to him because he went by him. Craig went around, started back upfield to protect that ball when Kennard got it. It was Glassick that took Young out of the play.
3rd and 19 at the 11 for the Broncos. Scoreless in the first quarter. Going the wrong way on net yardage. They are minus for the game so far. Perrin trying to bounce off. Only gets out to about the 14-yard line. And that's where the Broncos are stopped by Young. And Denver will have to punt. Houston fans are on their feet for their defense. As Denver now has a 4th and 16 from the 14. 44 seconds to play in the first quarter. Billy Johnson waits at his 45-yard line. And Bucky Dilts stands a yard into the end zone. 10-man rush by the Oilers, although last time they didn't put that much pressure on. They fell back for punt coverage. We'll see what they do now this close to the Denver goal line. Snap back is a little high. Dilts gets it out over the rush. It's coming over the Bronco 40, bounces up the sidelines, over the 50, into Oiler territory, stays in bounds over the 40, and dives at the Oiler 33-yard line.
What a punt.
Almost dead on the Oiler 34. 52 yards. 52 yards for the punt by the Bronco rookie, Bucky Dilts. And the Oilers will start from their 33 as we take 10 seconds for station identification on the Denver Bronco Network.
Whatever the season, your station for sports is Denver.
Well, Bucky Dilts did the job, 52 yards from scrimmage, but actually he punted under pressure because Houston had folks in around him on the goal line, and Bucky punted it toward the sideline. Had enough English on the ball that it just rolled down that sideline and continued to bounce, then out toward the center of the field. And the main thing that he did was keep it away from White Shoes Johnson, who was not about to touch it with Broncos breathing down his neck. And it rolled dead at the 33-yard line. So under the conditions, an excellent punt by Bucky Dilts, and that's where Houston will put it in play. Strategy session on the sideline with Babe Pirelli, the quarterback coach. Craig Morton there with Weiss and Penrose as they're talking about things that might go against this Houston defense. I'm not sure that, Bob, that Houston is doing anything any differently that they didn't expect, but so far the Broncos have been able to run only 6 plays, and they have minus yardage.
The Oilers now have Billy Johnson in the lineup. Carpenter and Coleman are the running backs. Burrow and Johnson come to the left side. Johnson is the slot man. Backs in the eye, but Pastorini has one last thing that he wants to say to Mike Barber as they come up to the line of scrimmage. 11 seconds left in a scoreless first quarter. They start motion, hand the ball back, reverse to Burrow, who wants to throw the flea flicker deep for Billy Johnson. There's the pass, incomplete at the Broncos 20-yard line. It wound up back at Burrow inside the 25. He threw it deep, and both Billy Johnson and Bernard Jackson were upfield with Billy Johnson. The defense the play. Burrow took the handoff from Coleman and threw the long pass. Nice pass.
Indeed it was. And Thompson and Jackson really had a hustle to get there, but I'm sure they had something to do with Johnson missing the ball. He could have caught it, but they had good coverage.
The flea flicker. Now 2nd and 10 from the 33 for the Oilers. Johnson goes out. Pastorini back to throw it again. Throwing it long up the far side. Get Burrow open. Pass at the 20, and he is out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Let out by Lewis Wright. That was just a streak up the far side. Wright is complaining about something, but the quarter is over. And the Oilers have the ball at the Denver 16-yard line. The Broncos are still in heat about some aspects of that play. We'll check it out when we come back in a minute at the quarter. Houston nothing, Denver nothing, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Stay happy, have a happy day today. Work better, live better, the Capital Federal way. Make your money work for you to do the things you want to do. Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way. Think happy, stay happy, have a happy day.
Saving with a Pass Card account at Capital Federal means you also save at Wendy's Hamburgers. Buy one hamburger at the regular price and get a quarter-pound hamburger absolutely free.
Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way.
The quarterly coupon discount at Wendy's Hamburgers is just one more way to get more for your savings with a Capital Federal Savings Pass Card account.
Whatever it is the Broncos are upset about, we certainly don't know up here. I've looked at the replay a couple of times, and I can see nothing wrong in the scope that we have. But nevertheless, the Broncos carried on a lasting argument with the officials, and they're just now moving to the other end of the field.
Larry, I say the contention is that Burrow may not have had control of the football
When he went out of bounds. Well, maybe that's what they're complaining about, but nevertheless, the ball is going to be at the 16-yard line. Louis Wright was just beaten by a step or so by Burrow, and a fine pass by Pastorini. And that's the one thing that Red Miller has said all week, that the thing that he worried about from Pastorini was that long pass, that he can throw. He has a great arm, and he can throw very accurately at the long distances. So he proves it right here. They went with a flea flicker with Burrow throwing the pass, and then they came right back into the same area. This
51-yard pass play.
Right, 51 yards. They've moved from their own 33 to the Broncos 16. Now the Oilers moving from left to right, west to east at the Denver 16.
Have Coleman as a slot to the left inside of Burrow. Carpenter the only setback. And the handoff is to Carpenter, and he is grabbed by Paul Smith as he gets to the 15-yard line. We have a half yard at the most.
Good to see Smitty back in the lineup. He's had some problems over the last couple of weeks, but he's in there now, and the Broncos are able to go back into their shuffle system of the front three. They have Bryson Manor, John Grant, and Paul Smith in there at the moment. Pittsburgh Steelers lead Seattle 7-0 in the first period, and New England 3-0 over Atlanta in the first period.
Oilers again the same look. Have Foster to the right. Have Coleman and Burrow wide left, and Pastorini throws quickly to Coleman. He's at the 10, cuts to the 5, is inside the 5, out of bounds at the 3. Quick pass, Pastorini to Coleman, and it is a first and goal for the Oilers. Foley and Gradishar are the ones who made the tackle for Denver. The ball is at the 2-yard line.
This has been a good drive for the Oilers, who in 4 plays have moved it from their own 33 to the Broncos 2.
First and goal, 2-yard line for Houston. Tighten up the formation. Had Hardeman a wingback, but inside to the right. Coleman starts in motion, takes the handoff, dives toward the goal line, and scores.
In front in the first minute of play in the second period. 14 minutes, 14 seconds still to go. And the big 51-yard pass, of course, being the big play. But they have just driven 67 yards in 5 plays.
Tony Fritsch will attempt the extra point. They have 2 kickers active, Dempsey and Fritsch. And the extra point is good. So, 14-14 to play in the first half. Complete domination by the Oilers so far as Houston 7, Denver nothing, at a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
There's a certain quality about some organizations that sets them apart. You've seen it. It's a very special kind of commitment to good, consistent customer service. In my game, it's the way our offense strives to play a consistent game every time out, because that's what it takes to end up on the winning side. In the automobile business, there's a dealership here in Denver that provides that same kind of dependable effort in their business our fans expect of us. Siltahar Ford stands for total customer service before, during, and after a customer's Ford purchase. As someone who appreciates that very special kind of commitment and dedication, I salute the people at Siltahar Ford. I'm Craig Penrose, quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
Win the fantastic new Ford Fairmont or a trip to Super Bowl 12, January 15th in New Orleans, plus other valuable prizes by taking the NFL Challenge. Licensed drivers can enter now at Siltahar Ford, Highway 287, Broomfield.
Well, certainly a big drive for the Oilers there, and they go ahead 7-0 with 14 minutes and 14 seconds still to go in the second period. And while they use Frisch to kick the extra point, I see Dempsey, who's going to be out there to do the kicking off with Upchurch and Schultz deep for Denver.
Frisch pulled a muscle a few weeks ago, and they picked up Dempsey, who was a free agent, to fill in. Schultz and Upchurch wait inside the Bronco 5 as Dempsey comes up to the ball, kicks it toward Schultz, and he has it at the 5-yard line. He's over the 10, across the 20, and tackled at the 20 line. Pursuit for the Oilers, led by Art Springer, and the Broncos, who were a minus 5 yards for their offense in the first quarter, now will have to try to move that football a little bit, take some pressure off the Denver defense, which had to play virtually the entire first period. Broncos start from their 21-yard line. Denver without Otis Armstrong. Ankle injury has him on the inactive list this week. Moses and Dalton coming left. Perrin and Lytle are the Denver running backs. Odom's tight end right. Fake. Morton is back. Steps up. Throwing it for Odoms. It is off his fingers. Incomplete at the 45-yard line. Odoms to the far side. And the pass was over him at the 45-yard line as the Broncos try to loosen it up a little bit on first down. May not be all bad to
they've got to do that, Bob.
Let the Houston defense worry about that possibility. Bring the ball back to the 21-yard line. Second down and 10. Upchurch is in for Dalton. Pastorini 4 for 4, 91 yards.
And, of course, 51 of them coming on the one big play. Interesting to see Riley Odoms here. This is, of course, where he played his college football. University of Houston, which uses this as a home field.
High formation. Lytle the tailback behind Perrin. And it is to Perrin. Perrin driving to the right side. Gets to the 25. Maybe a little bit more. And then thrown back from the 25-yard line. Leaves the Broncos with a 3rd down 6. James Young makes the stop.
That front three doing a good job right now for the Oilers. Kennard, Culp, and Young. And they have made the bulk of the tackles. Not too much activity for the linebackers as the front three getting the job done against the Bronco rushing game. That is only the 8th offensive play that the Broncos have run in the football game.
3rd and 6. 25-yard line. Dalton in close at the left side. And Morton back on 3rd down, running to his right. He has room, but his pass is caught and set by Dalton out near the 40-yard line. Ball is punched away and recovered by the Broncos inside the 35, but I believe it had been blown dead. Oilers had one of those earlier. Steve Kiner makes the tackle, and they are ruling that the ball had been blown dead out near the 37, which is Denver's first down of the ball game. The ball was punched away from Dalton. Broncos recovered it.
Yeah, Glassick recovered it anyway, but perhaps maybe it wouldn't have been a first down.
Denver, with its first down of the ball game, moves out to the 37-yard line. You mentioned that Chuck Eberling is the referee. Umpire is Bill Ross. Head linesman Al Sabato. Line judge Bruce Alford. The back judge Dave Perry. And the field judge is Bill Stanley. Morton back on first down. Steps up in the pocket. Pass is tipped and incomplete. Lytle got a hand on it at the 40-yard line. And the ball popped up in the air, and then Lytle had to concern himself that Greg Bingham, the linebacker, didn't get an interception on the play. 2nd and 10.
So the Broncos continuing to try to loosen up that Oiler defense a little bit. Good scramble by Morton on the previous play when he completed it to Jack Dalbin, and Dalbin ran a nice little pattern out there to work free of Mike Reinfeldt.
2nd Second and 10 from their 37 for the Broncos. Oilers lead 7-0, 12:27 to play in the first half. Lytle and Perrin have gone all the way at running back. Moses starts in motion from right to left. And the handoff is to Lytle, reverses to Moses. Moses still behind the line of scrimmage, now cuts at the 35-40, out to the 45 and close to the 46-yard line. So the Broncos try the reverse, do not pick up a first down with it, and there is an Oiler a little slow to get up on the play. Spot the ball at the 45.
It's Young who's slow to get up. Robert Brazil made the tackle. Interesting run by Haven, who shows what he can do in an isolation situation. Young had come through. There was one block thrown there, and then Miner and Maurer got out in front, but Moses really put on a nice move to get to the outside, and the Broncos find themselves now with a 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2 at their 45 for the Broncos. Odoms is a wing to the right side. In motion to the left. And there will be a flag on offside on the Oilers as the Bronco pass is incomplete. Moses was knocked down, but it looked as if the Oilers encroached in the neutral zone. Craig Bingham. Let's see what the call is.
Bob, I think it was Kennard who moved offside.
Offside on the Oilers, so the Broncos get a first down on the penalty. Kennard responded to the motion of Odoms out of that wing. That's a formation Denver's used a great deal this season. Field microphone still does not work. Well, the Broncos now have moved the ball out to the 50. This is their best drive so far.
Started at the 21.
Morton back on first down. Looking upfield for Dalvin, and the pass will be over him at the goal line. Dalvin had been held up a little bit along the sidelines in traffic and had no chance to get to the ball. Courier and Moore were the deep men. And again, the Broncos throwing deep against this Oiler defense. And I know, Larry, that the Broncos felt from watching the Oiler films that they could go deep on this club a little bit. They have the utmost regard for the front part of the Oiler defense, particularly the linebackers, but felt that they could get deep, and they have been trying now in the second quarter. 2nd and 10 at the 50.
Long huddle by Denver. The 30-second clock has already run down to 10 seconds, and Craig's going to have to hurry.
Upchurch and Moses split right. The fake, Morton back, pressure, blitz, back, 40-yard line. Pressure was on. It was Ted Washington with Kennard coming in, but Washington the linebacker, and they get Morton at the 40-yard line, second sack, and now Denver has a 3rd and 20 at the 40.
Second sack, as Bob said, for Houston. The Broncos have not yet gotten to Pastorini, and now Denver finds itself with a long 3rd down situation. They're back at almost their own 40. They've got to go to the Houston 40, so they have 20 yards to go.
Coming into the game, the Broncos have been sacked 36 times. They have gotten to the other quarterback 31. The Oilers have had 21 sacks coming in, and Pastorini's been sacked 19 times. Morton back on 3rd and 20. Pass, Moses at the 45 to the 40-yard line, and he should just have the first down.
I think he will. Haven really had to make trying to get to the spot to get the first down. I think he got there.
Sembrick made the tackle on Moses, and it is the first down. The Broncos on 3rd and 20 get 20.
They had that extra back in there with Sembrick, that nickel defense that they used on the long yardage 3rd down situation.
Broncos have Schultz in for Moses, and he is wide left with Upchurch. I formation. There is movement again by the Oilers before the Broncos hand off the ball.
No, Montler still had it, and he was knocked off the line of scrimmage and still held the football. And Houston has called for offside. They'll walk off 5 against them. Seattle has kicked a field goal against the Steelers. It's Pittsburgh 7 and Seattle 3 in the second period now.
Ball at the 35-yard line. First down 5 for Denver. Oilers ahead 7-0. 10:28 to play in the first half in the Astrodome. same look. Handoff Lytle trying to get outside left, makes his cut, and goes to about the 32 or 3-yard line, trying to drag Zeke Moore. Bingham also there to force the play inside. Lytle gets a couple, and Denver will have 2nd down and 3 at the Oilers' 33-yard line. Moses is back now with Dalton.
In case you tuned in late and missed some of our earlier comments, Otis Armstrong, being bothered for the last couple of weeks with that ankle injury, is on the inactive list today. He with Riley, and will not play in the game, of course.
2nd and 3. Morton back to throw. Keeps the backs in. Going long for Dalton to the end zone. Incomplete. Moore giving Dalton the shoulder in the end zone as they both went for the ball. It is an incomplete pass. And now Denver has a 3rd down 3 at the Oiler 33.
Washington is leading Buffalo 7-0 in the second period, and a little pushing and shoving all the way down on that pattern, Bob, between Moore and Dalton, as both were trying to work free.
Astrodome has never been the Broncos' favorite spot on the road. Last year, Denver came in after a good start, but Max Coley, the offensive...
Well, he got really chopped up and jammed up when Montler was trying to make his block, and the defender pushed Montler down out in front of him, and Lytle had to scoot around him. But he still ends up picking up some pretty good yardage.
2nd down 6 at the 13-yard line. This has been a long drive on the clock, too.
Oh, it has.
6 minutes. 8:20 left in the first half. Broncos 7-0 behind the Oilers, who dominated the first quarter and scored early in the second quarter. Now a 2nd and 6 at the 13. Morton back, has time, passes to Odoms to the goal line, and he scores. Odoms caught the ball wide open at the 5, and now spikes a touchdown in his hometown. Riley Odoms for 6. It is 7-6, a 79-yard drive for Denver.
79 yards for the Broncos. A beautiful drive, really. There was one penalty in the drive, and the Broncos used 10 plays. 10 plays and a penalty to go 79. Couple of good completions to Riley Odoms in the drive. A fine pass to Haven Moses. And, of course, a scramble by Craig Morton to pick up a first down. So these are the things that go into making good drives, and I know the Broncos like to sustain them like that. 79 yards.
Jim Turner to attempt the extra point. 12 points away from being the 5th man in history to score 1,300. Now 11 points away as he ties the game at 7. 8:04 to play in the first half. Now it is Denver 7, Houston 7. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
A Ronald McDonald coloring calendar. Thanks, Dad. You're the one. You've got our coloring calendar.
Give your kids the exciting new Ronald McDonald coloring calendar for 1978. It has lots of pictures of Ronald McDonald and all his friends to color. And it's a great way to help kids remember important dates. Plus, you get big money-saving coupons. The new Ronald McDonald coloring calendar for 1978. Money-saving coupons for you, and a gift your kids will remember all year long.
Give your kids the coloring book that lasts the whole year long. The one that has a calendar too. You know you can't go wrong. At McDonald's, we do it all for you.
Get your coupon-filled Ronald McDonald coloring calendar today. Only 15 cents each while supplies last at participating McDonald's.
In the passing statistics, Morton has 4 completions of 9 attempts for 52 yards. Pastorini is 4 for 4 for 91 yards. Let's correct our statistic on that last drive. It was 10 plays and 2 penalties in that drive, but the Broncos keeping the ball for over 6 minutes. They took it with 14-14, and it's now 8:07.
Perrin will kick off from right to left. Johnson back with Voigt, and Perrin kicks it in the direction of Johnson. He's got it at the 5. He is over the 10, across the 20. He is over the 25 and submerged at the 28-yard line. John Schultz, first one downfield. Well, he is the leader on the Broncos in first hits on the special teams this year. Payne was right there, and the Broncos had good coverage. Oilers start from their 28. Now a 7-7 tie, 7:55 to go in the first half. Oilers still have the statistical advantage, but the one that counts is even. Foster and Burrow come to the right side. And the handoff is to Campbell to the 30 to about the 31-yard line. And then Alzado pulls him back. Alzado hit him first. 3-yard gain. It's a 2nd down and 7. Oilers at their 31.
Broncos with Alzado, Carter, Chavis back in there now, and they're back to their unit substitution on the front three now that Paul Smith is healthy again.
Coleman and Carpenter, the running backs. Both receivers wide right with Foster inside of Burrow. Pastorini on the 2nd and 7 to Carpenter, slips to the left side and then is stopped as he gets near the 35-yard line to leave the Oilers with a 3rd and 3. Reuben Carter making the play for Denver. So the ball is at the Oiler 35. The crowd has gotten a lot quieter after that Denver touchdown drive. They have a capacity crowd. They very badly fumbled the question here of whether the blackout should be lifted and finally decided late yesterday afternoon to go ahead and lift it. Had about 100 scattered $17 tickets at the deadline, which the local NBC station offered to buy. And the Oilers didn't return the phone call. On 3rd down, Carpenter straight ahead and thrown back after a yard, and the Bronco defense is held. Carpenter trying to blast up the middle, gets 1 to the 36. It is 4th down and 2, and you don't blast very far into Carter and Alzado.
Fine play by Lyle Alzado. Fought off the block and really put the stop on. And right now the momentum in this game, which in the first period was definitely with Houston, seems to be swinging around just a little bit. Upchurch is deep. He's had one chance at a return and returned to 31 yards. White Shoes Johnson on his one attempt is a -9.
Parsley stands at the 21. Upchurch is at the other 21-yard line. 10 men at the line of scrimmage on the 4th and 2. Broncos have the return on, and the punt is a little short. Upchurch at the 30-yard line, coming to his left, trying to get outside. He won't. He's tackled at the 31-yard line. Put down on a good coverage by Rob Carpenter. Upchurch trying to come wide to the left, but there was no room there. And the Broncos will start from their 31-yard line after the timeout. 5:43 remaining in the first half. Oilers 7, Broncos 7. Timeout on the Bronco Network.
Hey, you want to have some fun? Take the Ford Dealer NFL Football Challenge. Besides having fun, you could win a new Ford Fairmont or a trip for 2 to Super Bowl 12, or your choice of other NFL prizes. The NFL Challenge is easy to play. You pick which teams you think will get most yards passing, most yards rushing, most first downs, and most return yards in 2 NFL games, and you are a winner. That's all there is to it. So dadgummit, come on in. Take the challenge. And get your free NFL strategy book while they last.
Take the challenge, the NFL Challenge, and you're Ford Dealer now.
This week's game is San Diego versus Denver and Dallas versus San Francisco. At Johnny Harper Motors, #1 in car and truck sales for the last 3 years. No purchase necessary. Licensed drivers only. Entry forms limited. Expires December 19. Void where prohibited.
Let's update the scoreboard and the other games that are going. Pittsburgh has kicked a field goal. The Steelers now lead Seattle 10-3 in the second period. New England a second field goal. The Patriots 6, Atlanta nothing in the second period. Cardinals and Giants are tied 7-7 in the second, and Washington leads Buffalo 7-0 in the second period.
Larry, we have a different set of running backs for the Broncos. John Keyworth and Jim Jensen. With Armstrong out, Jensen becomes the backup halfback. Flag down as Jensen explodes over the 35, 41, 42, but let's see what the flag is for. On the Oilers is the first indication. James Young made the tackle offside on Houston. And the Broncos get a 10-yard plus run out of Jim Jensen on his first carry. We will take 10 seconds for station identification right here. A 7-7 tie with 5:37 left in the first half. Back in 10 seconds on the Denver Bronco Network.
Traffic reports, mornings and evenings on
KOA.
Denver.
The 42, it is Jensen again. Starting left, he's over the 45 as he cuts back to the 47-yard line. Young one more time. Larry, you're right. Things are changing.
Yes, I think the momentum definitely is going around, and I'm happy to see Jensen in there. I've been impressed with the guy. They brought him along slowly since they acquired him early in the season from Dallas, and Jensen has now working his way into the lineup more and more. He's done a good job on special teams, and right now, that particular combination of Jensen and Keyworth, Bob, gives you two big, powerful backs in there, and Jensen does run with pretty good speed as well.
And, of course, if the Broncos try to throw deep, they've got the blocking backs in there to give Morton some extra time. 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. Jensen again over the 50 and gets to the Oiler 48-yard line. He's very close to another first down. It is a first down. There's the signal. Steve Kiner makes that stop. Oilers, like the Broncos, play 4 linebackers. And Kiner's one of the 2 inside linebackers. Now the first downs are even at 8. Ball is at the Oiler 48-yard line. 4:28 left in the first half. 7-7 the score.
Vlasic and Keyworth made good blocks on that last run by Jensen.
I formation. Moses starts in motion. Handoff is to Keyworth across the 45 to the 42-yard line. Close to the 41. Greg Bingham. So there isn't much in the way of fiduciary in these runs right now. They're just powering straight ahead.
They certainly are, and they're getting really good blocking from the middle of the line, particularly the guards in center, Montler and Vlasic and Howard.
2nd and 4 after a 6-yard run by Keyworth to the Oiler 42. Odoms is a wing to the right side, starts in motion to the left. And the handoff is to Keyworth, trying to run to the right. He is at the 40 and out of bounds on the far side with another first down near the 35. Angled out by Willie Alexander. Another Denver first down.
Claudia Miner out in front, leading the play, but Keyworth did much of it on his own. And the running game has never looked better than it has in this particular series. Denver has run 5 running plays, and they have moved the ball from their own 31-yard line to the 36-yard line of Houston.
Ernest Kirk is coming in, 6'2", 265, to replace Young in the Oiler defensive line. So they stay with the 3-4.
It says something about putting 2 fresh running backs in there, too.
The fake by Morton, back to throw, steps up, has time, pass is intercepted. Alexander across the 30-yard line, think more, and he is across the 45. A fumble on the ball. Broncos have it back. Broncos have it back. Haven Moses. It was Moore who stepped up and made the interception near the 25-yard line, brought it back over the 45 to the 46, and that is where the Broncos get it back. So 2 quick turnovers, even out.
He was trying to throw it to Haven Moses, and they had good coverage. They had 2 linebackers back in there, too. Moore got it, was hit by Paul Howard, held on to the ball there, but it was Haven Moses that ripped the ball out, and Haven went down to recover it. So Moses ended up with the ball anyway.
So the Oilers are taking a timeout. Oilers take a timeout. They have a player a little shaken up, I think, Larry. The net result of all of that is the Broncos lose yardage. But on the change of possession and back again, it is a new first down. It is
right,
first and
a
10
new
Denver
series
at the Oiler 46-yard line. And the player who is shaken up a little bit is Robert Brazil. He is down on one knee. But the Broncos are lucky that time. That is only the 8th interception of the year off Morton. But the Broncos get the ball right back again, and credit Moses with it. And it looked on the replay as if Morton's throw was a little short.
A little short. I think Haven was out there. As I said, they did have good coverage. They had 2 linebackers back in the coverage. Brazil was back there, as was Greg Bingham. And Moore, knowing that the things were protected on either side, was able to cut out right in front and grab the ball. So that's what happened. And coming back up the field, the ball was torn loose by Moses after Paul Howard had made the initial contact. And Moses ends up with the ball. So really a new series of downs, taking over at the 46-yard line of Houston after the interception and fumble on the same play.
These teams are 2 of the best in the AFC in turnovers. Denver's a +12 and Houston is a +10. Morton back to throw. First down pass is complete at the 42-yard line to Jensen. He is hit at the 41. Ted Thompson makes that stop. He'll place the ball at the 41-yard line. So Morton's pass is complete for 5. And Denver has a 2nd and 5 at the Oiler 41-yard line.
Ed Thompson has come in. He is a 3-year man from SMU. He replaces Brazil for the moment.
Morton is 5 for 11 now.
It was his 8th interception of the season.
Interception and a touchdown for Morton today. The touchdown was to Odoms. Handoff is to Jensen. starts to the right, comes back over the 40 near the 37-yard line. And as they unpile, Denver will have 3rd and short, about 1.5 yards. Steve Kiner is the tackler. Egloff is coming in for Denver as we're getting down toward the 2-minute warning. 2:27 left in the first half. Egloff is in. The ball is, well, let's call it the 38. 3rd down, 1.5 yards for Denver. Long huddle by the Broncos. And they can't wait for the clock to run down to 2 minutes either. They'll have to snap the ball before that. Morton now calls a timeout. Morton calls a timeout. There was 2 seconds left on the clock for the snap and 2:04 left in the first half. And Morton decided not to take a 5-yard penalty in that situation because they were just about to get one. There was no way they would get the ball snapped in 2 seconds, and they couldn't wait for the clock to run down to the 2-minute warning. So the Broncos used one of their 3 timeouts. In this situation, Larry, we've seen it so many times this year. 3rd down and short yardage, you don't want to mess up. Better to take the timeout and make sure that you're agreed on what you're doing out there.
There's a lot of difference between 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 7, and that's exactly in this particular area of the field. The Broncos don't want to make the mistake here, so a very wise decision by Morton. A couple of other games now are underway. Philadelphia and Dallas have started, and they're scoreless in the first period. And also San Francisco and Minnesota are going, and they're still scoreless in the first period. Chicago and Tampa Bay scoreless in the second period. So the Buccaneers playing the Bears tough today. Cincinnati and Kansas City have just gotten started, and they're scoreless. Seattle now Pittsburgh leads Seattle 13-3.
Odoms is a wing to the left side. Broncos have 2 wide receivers. There is movement again, and a loss on the play as Jensen is tripped up around the 39-yard line, but it looks like movement in the Oiler line. Loss on the play for the Broncos. Flag down. Offside on the Oilers, a first down Denver. Larry, I don't know what it is the Broncos are doing to cause all the offsides, because we're not seeing anything from up here that we haven't been watching this team do a lot, and therefore that the Oilers would have seen a lot on film.
Well, unless it's just being a little over-anxious for the Oilers on that front line, but it is the 3rd time they've been called for that, and the 2nd time that it's cost them a first down. They had a loss on that play that would have prevented Denver from getting the first down, but instead Denver has the first down a 2nd time by penalty.
Ball at the 33 with a first down for Denver. The Broncos 10th. The Oilers have 8, and they haven't had any for a long time. Second quarter's been as much Denver as the first quarter was Houston. Morton back. Long pass for Upchurch. It is incomplete in the end zone. Upchurch appeared to have a good shot at it, and it looked to be flicked away by Zeke Moore. Good pattern. The ball was right there. Upchurch thought he had it, and Moore broke it up in the end zone. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. Actually, 1:54 to play in the half. It'll be 2nd and 10 Broncos at the Oiler 33-yard line. A timeout with a score. Denver 7 and Houston 7. This is the Denver Bronco Network.
Heating and air conditioning use more energy than anything else in your home. But cooking is another major source of energy consumption. Public Service Company would like to pass along the following information to help you use your range more efficiently. For example, self-cleaning electric ranges have heavier insulation than standard electric ranges and thus use less energy. In fact, the amount of energy saved is equal to the amount needed for 12 oven cleanings a year. Something else to remember is that an oven needs only about 10 minutes to warm up. Longer preheating could be wasting energy. If you have a gas range, the flame from the burner should be blue. If it's orange, the burner may be clogged, cutting down efficiency. The hole should be cleaned with a pipe cleaner. And above all, as with any appliance, you should read and keep the instruction manual that came with your range. Public Service Company, providing the energy you need for the life you lead.
Well, a nice play by Zeke Moore defensively, and it's a little difficult to see how much he affected the play, but without question, he bothered Upchurch just enough. I'm not sure whether he got the hand on the ball, but Rick certainly did, and just couldn't flip the hooks around it and keep it in the end zone. Fine pass by Craig Morton. But Denver now has it 2nd and 10. and they're at the 33-yard line of the Oilers. We're still tied up here, 7-7. Oilers and Broncos. Minute 54.
And the second set of running backs, Keyworth and Jensen, two big backs, have really pounded out some yardage for the Broncos. But now it's 2nd and 10 at the 33. Dalvin and Moses wide left. And there again is that movement by the Oilers, and the blitz is on. The pass is caught on the screen by Keyworth, 30, 25, cuts back over the 20, and goes inside the 20-yard line. The blitz was on. Morton threw the ball over Brazil, the blitzer, to the screen on the right side, offside against the Oilers, but this time I'm sure Denver will take the play. And again, the Oilers jumped just 1 split second before the ball was snapped. First down Denver as the Broncos take the 13-plus yards on the screen pass and move the ball inside the 20 to the 19. 1:44 left in the first half, and now Denver will have to give more consideration to the clock. At the 19. Handoff. Jensen trying to come to the left side. A yard at the most. Kiner makes the tackle. Lytle is in. Dalvin is in.
The Broncos now have to reconstruct this situation as to where they have reached this point. They had gotten the ball at their 31. And with about 6 minutes to go, they moved down into Houston territory. A pass was intercepted, and on the interception, Moore fumbled it right back on the same play, and then the Broncos took over again at the 46. So they've held the ball for a long time.
At the 19, 2nd down and 10. Lytle and Keyworth are the running backs for Denver. There's that stunning Houston defense that's been offside so much. Long count by Morton. Now drops back, looks, throws left side. Lytle across the 15, pulled out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Well, that'll stop the clock and bring up a 3rd down for Denver. Brazil making the play on Lytle. See where they place the ball.
I think Morton called that play at the line of scrimmage. It took them so long, and as you called, Bob, that they were stunning around at the line of scrimmage. And I think he called something that he felt would go outside because Houston did jam up toward the middle. I see Dallas has gone ahead of Philadelphia 7-0 in the first period.
Well, this crowd is as much a Dallas Cowboy crowd as a Houston Oiler crowd, which will raise Bud Adams' temperature, but it's true. 3rd and 4 Broncos at the Oiler 13-yard line. Less than a minute to go. Morton back, looks, throws to the goal line. Flag down as the catch is made. A touchdown signal, but there is a flag on the play. Upchurch made the catch at the goal line. There is a flag on the play. This time he beat Zeke Moore, and the Broncos have scored. I think it would be a holding or an interference call.
I don't think there's any question it's against Houston. Holding against Houston. What a fine catch. He had both Moses and Upchurch down there, but Upchurch was the man. He put it right in the middle, right in the old breadbasket, and Zeke Moore was there, but this time Upchurch held on, and it's a Bronco touchdown. Rick caught it right at the goal line and fell into the end zone.
That, by the way, is the magic number today. That's the second 13-yard touchdown pass. The other one was to Odoms. Now Jim Turner will attempt the extra point. This drive kept alive on an interception that was fumbled back to the Broncos. And Turner, with the conversion, has made the score Denver 14, Houston 7, with 50 seconds left in the first half.
Well, Bob, actually, they'll get credit from the 46-yard line, and on my figures here, it's going to be 6 plays and a penalty. But it really started all the way back at the 31. However, the ball did change hands on the interception on the same play. As you said, Moore fumbled it back to the Broncos, so the drive would literally be 46 yards in 6 plays and a penalty, with the final 13, the pass from Morton to Upchurch. So Craig Morton has now thrown for 2 touchdowns in this game, and the Broncos lead it 14-7.
Larry, I mentioned earlier that Jim Turner is closing in on 1,300 points. He now has 1,290. Only 4 people in the history of the NFL have scored 1,300. George Blanda has 2,002. He's in the stratosphere. Last week, Jim Cox moved into 2nd place. He now has 1,354. Lou Groza slips to 3rd at 1,349. Jim Bakken is at 1,310 starting the day. So Jim Turner is at 1,290, and he'll shortly be the 5th man in the history of the league to score 1,300 points. I guess that's nothing for those of you who were listening the other night when Dan Issel scored 15,000 in the NBA, KBA. But that's quite a career, and Cox is retiring at the end of the season, so Turner could move up over the next year or two, and he's already third in field goals behind Blanda and Cox.
Morton is now 8 out of 15 for 90 yards, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns.
Perrin up to the football. Boyd back with Johnson. And the end-over-end kick goes to Boyd at the 5-yard line on the far side. He is over the 15 to the 18, slips a tackle, gets out to about the 23-yard line. That's where the Oilers will have the ball with 44 seconds to play in the first half. 2 long drives by Denver, 2 touchdowns, and the Broncos ahead 14-7. Godwin Turk made that tackle. He was pointing out to us yesterday the high school where he went here in Houston and one of his favorite funeral homes. Godwin, of course, is a licensed embalmer. He says that place has got bodies all the time. Now the Oilers to the line of scrimmage with 1 set back. All kinds of folks arrayed at the line of scrimmage. Coleman inside of Burrow. Foster wide left. Carpenter the only setback. Oilers from their 24-yard line. And Pastorini back to throw. Right flat to Carpenter. He is caught for a loss at the 19-yard line by Joe Rizzo. Just threw the swing to the right side to Carpenter. And Rizzo came in to smear him for a 5-yard loss. Quickly, the Oilers take their second timeout. It will be 2nd down and 15 from the 19 for Houston. 35 seconds to go in the first half, and we might add the Broncos will get the kickoff at the start of the third quarter.
Bob, the Broncos will close out their home season, the regular season. I think many folks are hoping that they'll see him a couple of more times at Mile High Stadium. But next week, the San Diego Chargers are in for their second game of the Broncos this season, and only 2 more games left in the regular season after this one. San Diego next week, and that's a 2 o'clock kickoff out at Mile High Stadium. And then, of course, the following week against the Dallas Cowboys. And that game has been pushed back an hour and will start at 3 o'clock Dallas time or 2 o'clock Denver time. That's 2 weeks from today in Dallas.
During the timeout, Denver has inserted Randy Podol as an extra safety and taken out Joe Rizzo. And the expectation on 2nd and 15 that Pastorini is likely to see how far he can throw the football. Again, 3 wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. But the handoff is to the running back Wilson, who comes to the right side to the 25-yard line. Wilson gets 6. Gradishar makes the tackle. And it leaves the Oilers with a 3rd down and 9 at their 25-yard line, and they use their last timeout. And I'd like to use a little of it, Larry, to explain a situation that will happen Saturday in our area, where the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals are scheduled to play, and also Washington and St. Louis have a game. Both of those games will be blacked out in metropolitan Denver because the Colorado AAA championship game is being played. Fairview and Mitchell will play Saturday afternoon. We talked with Ray Ball, the commissioner of the Colorado High School Activities Association, about the situation. This is a federal law that through the second Saturday in December, the pros in effect must protect high schools and colleges and cannot televise within 75 miles of a game. Ray was willing to have the blackout lifted. We talked with the Justice Department. They say the blackout cannot be lifted, period. So neither of those games will be televised in Metro Denver next Saturday. Everyone regrets it, but that's the law. 3rd and 9. Pastorini is back. He looks some more. Here comes the pressure. There goes the pass. It is complete with a flag at about the 39-yard line to Foster. He's over the 40 and somersaulted out to the 44-yard line. But the flag went down right away, and I think we may have some illegal people upfield. Foley made the play. I see, for example, Conway Heyman well past the line of scrimmage. Holding.
Holding is the
holding. Well,
indication.
It's coming back against the Oilers anyway. Penalties have really hurt Houston. They've helped keep a couple of Denver drives alive, for the most part offsides, as the Oilers have been trying to anticipate the Denver snap count and have intruded into the neutral zone. Now this pass play is called back. We only have 14 seconds left in the half. Denver takes the penalty, moves the Oilers back to the 16-yard line.
Score after the first period was 0-0, and then Houston got the touchdown to go ahead 7-0, and up until that point had really dominated the game to the point where Denver had run only 6 offensive plays. But then Denver drove 79 yards, and they have really controlled the football for the entire second period.
3rd down and 18. Signal is for illegal use of the hands. 3rd and 18 for the Oilers at their 16-yard line. Pastorini throws up the middle, and it's incomplete. Right through Billy Johnson's hands at the 20-yard line. Randy Gradishar was standing there saying hi there. And Billy did not catch the football. He wasn't going anywhere if he did catch it. So now the Oilers will have to punt. 4th down, 18 from their 16. 10 seconds, time left for Rick Upchurch to do his number. He's had a return of 31 and a return of 1. Upchurch waits at the Bronco 38-yard line. Parsley at the 2. He punted well in the Big 8 last year. Snap back to Parsley. Broncos get a rush on. Parsley gets it away, kicks it toward the far side, and it's out of bounds at the Oiler 45-yard line. Oh, not that far. 42, they decide. So Denver will get it at the Oiler 42 with 3 seconds left in the first half. Denver 14 and Houston 7. And what the hey? Do you go for 6 with 3 seconds left?
I think you go to the dressing room and be happy with a 1-touchdown lead. About 26 yards on that punt for Parsley. Not very good.
He was so anxious to get it away from Upchurch that he kicked it on a little bit too much of an angle toward the side, although the Broncos did have a fair rush on him that time. Let's see what Denver does. At the Oiler 43, Morton is back to throw.
He certainly is. He's going to go for it.
Running. And he is sacked at the 45-yard line. That'll end the half. Third sack by the Oilers. And Steve Baumgartner got him. But Morton was looking and decided to eat the ball when he didn't see anything upfield. Halftime. It is the Denver Broncos 14, the Houston Oilers 7. We'll be back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
15 carries, 51 yards. Coleman, 4 carries for 16 yards. And Wilson, 3 carries for 15. Here's the whistle. Third period. Dempsey backs up to kick the ball, and here's Bob.
Broncos defending the goal line at our left. At the west end of the dome have Schultz and Upchurch back. They're milling around to try to make it hard for Dempsey to figure out where he's kicking the ball. Where he's kicking it is out of bounds on the far side of the field.
And that'll be a legal procedure. 5 yards will be stepped off against the Oilers, which will add to their penalty total, and Dempsey will get to do it all over again.
Larry, talking to some of the writers in the press box at halftime, they had 2 real questions. One was whether Johnson really did get out of the end zone on that punt return and whether it should have been a safety. And the other was real doubt as to whether Burrow had possession of the ball on that long pass when he went out of bounds, whether he really had the ball, because the replay shows him fighting for it on his hip.
Had it on his hip. There's no question about that, and it just depends on whether the officials ruled that he had it pinned up against his hip or was still messing around with it.
In any event, that is history now. Get a chance later, we'll tell you about a call Red Miller had Friday from the league confirming one thing the Broncos were unhappy about with the officiating last week, and no, it wasn't the punt to the goal line. When the ball crossed the plane of the end zone, it was a touchback, even though it bounced back out to the 1-yard line.
Today's episode is brought to you by thisdayinthennfl.com. Celebrating football's greatest moments, one day at a time. Listen to classic broadcasts, explore historic games, and keep the legacy of the NFL alive at thisdayinthennfl.com.
Dempsey kicks it away this time, end over end and short. And Upchurch takes it on the run at the 22, 25, 30. Out over the 35 to about the 36. Not that long a return, but not bad field position because the kick itself was short. Al Johnson makes the tackle, and the Broncos will start from their own 36 with Craig Penrose at quarterback. Craig Penrose is the quarterback for Denver. Morton on the sidelines, and Larry, we saw that one spot where he banged up his knee. Penrose takes over at quarterback. Perrin and Lyler the running backs. Dalvin and Moses wide to the right. Call it the 35-yard line. Handoff is to Perrin, and Perrin is to the 39. Hit there. 4-yard gain. Steve Kiner makes the tackle.
Well, Craig Penrose coming in at quarterback. We've had no word from the bench as to what's wrong with Craig Morton. He has his headgear off and is walking around. Appears to be okay. But Penrose delivered, of course, in the Cincinnati game, you'll remember. That's the last time he had to come in and do well. He has 11 completions of 18 attempts for 124 yards, no interceptions, and no touchdowns.
At the 39-yard line, a 2nd down and 6 for Denver. Receivers wide left. Penrose back, throwing under pressure for Odoms, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Odoms stretched out for the ball, had the outside route on Zeke Moore. I don't know whether it was that one time that Morton ran with the ball and was a little slow to get up. Maybe that last sack.
He was right. He was sacked right in the last play of the second period.
He has a congenital problem in those knees of his. He's been operated on several times, and every once in a while they'll just lock up on him a little bit.
Third down.
Now the Broncos have a 3rd and 6 at their own 39, leading 14-7. A minute gone in the third quarter. Perrin and Lytle in the eye. The fake. Penrose is back. There's the pass. Upfield it is incomplete or intercepted. What?
Oh, it's complete. And what a catch.
A great catch. It did not appear that Odoms had a chance to catch the ball.
And Zeke Moore is out cold, Bob. Odoms went right over the top of him.
They went up together, and Moore appeared to be the one who had the best chance at the football. They were stunning.
Odoms caught it over the top, and it looked like he caught Moore in the back of the neck with his elbow as he went over the top of him.
Larry, we now have the word on Morton, a slight shoulder sprain.
Oh.
They want Penrose to work for a while. Morton can return if necessary, but they would just as soon have Penrose in there right now.
And now it probably happened on that last play on the sack?
It would appear to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. The timeout now with Moore still out on the field. 13:53 left in the third quarter, and the Broncos with a first down at the Oiler 42. Denver 14, Houston 7. Timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Hey, you want to have some fun? Take the Ford Dealer NFL Football Challenge. Besides having fun, you could win a new Ford Fairmont or a trip for 2 to Super Bowl 12, or your choice of other NFL prizes. The NFL Challenge is easy to play. You pick which teams you think will get most yards passing, most yards rushing, most first downs, and most return yards in 2 NFL games, and you are a winner. That's all there is to it. So dadgummit, come on in, take the challenge, and get your free NFL strategy book while they last.
Take the challenge, the NFL challenge, and your Ford Dealer now.
This week's game is San Diego versus Denver and Dallas versus San Francisco. At Johnny Harper Motors, #1 in car and truck sales for the last 3 years. No purchase necessary. Licensed drivers only. Entry forms limited. Expires December 19. Void where prohibited.
Broncos at the 42-yard line, going with Penrose. Lytle and Perrin, the running backs. Fine catch by Odoms. And Perrin straight ahead over the 35 to the 34-yard line. Oilers on defense put Greg Stemrick, the third-year man from Colorado State University, in at the corner that Zeke Moore was playing. Bingham makes the tackle on Perrin. And if you watched Moore going off to the sidelines, Larry, he was barely able to stay on his feet. He wobbled all the way. And he is now on the bench being attended to.
I might add that Riley Odoms is also on the sideline. He was shaken up on that play. Egloff is in his place.
2nd down, 8 for Denver. Upchurch and Moses left handoff. Perrin straight ahead for the first down. Gets near the 30-yard line. Baumgartner makes the tackle.
Boy,
now Perrin is hurt.
Yes, he is.
Perrin is writhing. And the Broncos don't have that many running backs. Otis Armstrong is not active because of an injured ankle.
Looks like he hurt his left shoulder when he came down. And he's sort of moving that arm around as he's being flanked by the 2 trainers coming to the sideline. They take no chances and take him out of the game. What a lift this would be for Denver if Penrose, coming in here, could take them right down for a score to start this third period. And he is on his way to doing it. The drive started at the 35-yard line. He's moved it down to the Houston 31.
Dalvin and Moses wide right. Egloff tight end left. Keyworth is in now. Perrin on the sidelines. First down just short of the 30-yard line. It is to Keyworth, and Keyworth plows into the middle for a couple. Takes it to the 28. Odoms is coming back for Denver. Well, we've talked many times for many years about the playing field here in Houston. It's cruel. Ted Washington, who was shaken up for Houston in the first half, makes that tackle.
Bob, the cheer that just went up was for the score that's just been posted here on the scoreboard. Seattle has scored and kicked the point. And in the third period, the Seahawks giving the Steelers everything they want. Pittsburgh 13-10 over Seattle in the third period.
Yeah, well, Terry Bradshaw made the statement the other day, after we beat Seattle, we've got to win one of our last 2. To Lytle on the sweep right to the 26-yard line. Gain of 2, 3rd and 6 coming up for Denver.
Baumgartner, 63.
Willie Alexander makes that play. The Oilers send a couple of people in now to their defensive array. The ball is at the Oiler 26-yard line. Denver leading 14-7. First drive of the third quarter. Morton with a slight shoulder sprain, and Penrose quarterbacking for the Broncos. They move from the Denver 35 to the Houston 26. It is third down and 6. Moses and Dalton left. Odom's tight end right. Perrin back in the ball game. And the pass is caught at the sidelines by Odom's, complete at the 19-yard line on the throw by Penrose in heavy traffic to the near side. Odoms makes the catch just in front of Willie Alexander and goes out of bounds with it.
And Riley has had a fine day. That's 2 catches in this particular drive. Riley also caught 1 touchdown pass and another pass in that drive. He's caught 4 now for 45 yards, including 1 touchdown.
Another first down for the Broncos, who have 15 after having minus yardage and no first downs in the first quarter. The ball is at the Oiler 19. Moses starts in motion at the left side. Handoff is to Perrin. Perrin to the right to about the 18-yard line. Not a whole lot there. Good coverage by the Oilers. Kirk, first one in.
And also Brazil helped out, and Cincinnati has taken a 10-7 lead over Kansas City. They'll be watching that one here in Houston, too. That's a good race in the Central Division with all 4 teams still in it. But the loser today of any of those games, if Pittsburgh goes ahead to win, will be 2 games behind with 2 games to go.
Second down 8, Denver at the Oiler 18-yard line. 10:22 to play, third quarter. Broncos have Perrin as a slot to the right side with Odom's out a little bit. The fake. Penrose throws left to Dalton. Dalton at the 15-yard line, and a flag downfield as Dalton gets near the 11. Let's see. This one could be on Denver, but we'll find out. It is illegal man downfield.
Right. Legal receiver downfield. That's the first penalty against the Broncos today. Paul Howard having a chat with the official about this, but that will cost Denver a first down.
It moves the ball back to the 28-yard line to see if the official's microphone is working. Negative. Chuck Heberling is mute today. We are not getting anything out of the official's mic. It is not on the PA system. So the Broncos at the 28, second down. Now Johnson is up to the 5-yard line. Boyd at his left is waiting at about the 8. And Perrin will have to kick it from the Denver 30. Broncos leading 17-7. Turner 42-yard field goal. And Perrin back to the ball. Kicks it toward Billy Johnson, 10-yard line. He is up the middle over the 20, trying to come left and get outside of Poland. He's over the 30, 35, 40, and out of bounds. Out of bounds near the 43-yard line. Lonnie Perrin has to come over and make the play. Good move outside by Billy Johnson.
Yeah, he got the good move on Podol. He moved it up from the 10 out to about the 20, and got one block. Randy committed himself, and Johnson put the move on him, got to the outside, and gets it out to the 44. So it's about a 34-yard kickoff return by Whitefield.
So the Oilers, who have not had anything going since very early in the second quarter, take over at their 44-yard line. They haven't seen much of the football. Campbell and Coleman are the running backs. Foster right, Burrow left, and Pastorini hands off, gets the handoff back, wants to throw the ball long for Burrow. It is picked off and dropped by Foley. That's the play that Cincinnati uses, the handoff and then back to the quarterback, who now has given the run action to the defense. The quarterback gets a pitch back from the running back and then throws long, and Foley had that one completely covered on Burrow at the 10-yard line.
Did he ever? He was with him, Bob, all the way. Bernard Jackson was coming over to help out, but good play by Foley, who was not fooled at all. And as he comes back upfield, Tom Jackson goes back and gives him a hand for diagnosing that one correctly and staying with the man. And Burrow is not the easiest guy in the world to stay with.
Coleman moves over as a slot to the right side, inside of Burrow. Foster wide left. Campbell is the only setback behind Pastorini. 2nd and 10 Oilers at their own 44-yard line. And this may be on the Broncos as flags fly and Coleman carries it to the 46. It may have been Alzado who moved too quickly.
Number 68, Reuben Carter.
Reuben Carter made the tackle. Offside Denver.
Well, the Broncos were not penalized at all in the first period, have now drawn a couple in this period.
That's a free 5 yards for the Oilers. It will make it 2nd down and 5, and they're spotting the ball at the Houston 48. If they leave it there, it'll be 2nd down and 6. Second and 5 for the Oilers. Starting from their 48 now. Backs in the eye. Coleman the tailback. Both receivers wide right. Back shift to the tee. Pastorini continues the count. Goes back to throw. Looks to his right. Running. He is across the 50. He is at the Denver 40 and down at the Bronco 36-yard line. Gradishar makes the tackle. It is a first down for the Oilers at the Bronco 36. Pastorini took a couple of quick looks and then scooted upfield. It could have been something like a quarterback draw, although I really think he would have thrown the ball if he had seen anything in that first quick pop.
Yeah, he had a little pressure. Alzado and Davis had gotten through.
Foster and Burrow to the right again. I formation, first down at the Denver 37, and there is contact made as the Broncos say they were drawn offside. Pastorini down under the center, then raised back up and looked around into his backfield. And the Broncos make contact and are called for an offside. And Bob Swenson is hopping mad, and now so is Joe Rizzo. Because you remember what happened to Denver and Kansas City 2 weeks ago when Morton made a move. Red Miller is not happy.
I'll say he's not.
But the Broncos get the offside call.
Red just telling him to settle down, though. I think you can't question what Rizzo did. Rizzo saw movement, and he went across and made contact. And instead of 1st and 15, it's 1st and 5 because the officials didn't see it that way.
Again, they have misspotted the football, Larry. They've only gone 4 yards. Now I think that they are going to rectify it, but they only went 4 yards. Now they'll give them the 5th.
Well, maybe Pete Rozelle will enjoy these movies, too.
First down 5 at the Bronco 32-yard line. Handoff, Carpenter trying to go right and hit as he comes to the 31. Alzado gets there first, gain of a yard, and the Oilers will have a 2nd and 4 at the Bronco 31. 8:35 to play, third quarter. Denver 17, Houston 7. Let's take 10 seconds for station identification on the Denver Bronco Network.
14 Sportscast a day keep you informed on Denver.
Down from the 31-yard line. Coleman moves over as a slot inside of Burrow at the left. White Shoes Johnson wide right. Handoff, Carpenter trying to come left. Grabbed by Gradishar at the 30. He may go to the 29, but that will be all.
Gradishar got a little help from Reuben Carter, Lyle Alzado also there, but it was Gradishar that made the initial contact. They've broken the tie in the second period. San Francisco 7-0 over Minnesota. The Eagles have tied up Dallas in the second period 7-7, and New England is ahead of Atlanta in the third period 9-7.
Again, Coleman and Burrow left. Johnson right. Third and a couple at the Denver 29-yard line. Pastorini is back. Throwing long up the middle. Burrow's wide open. He scores! Touchdown, Burrow!
Deep in the end zone, and Foley has had his work cut out for him today trying to cover Burrow. He's done basically a pretty good job, but that time Burrow just got the lead on him. So the things tighten up here in the third period. 7:21 to go. It's 17-13, and Tony Frisch has come in to try the point after. They want another football in, and that's the reason for the delay as they change it up. 7:39 of the third quarter is the time of the score.
Fritz to attempt the extra point. Ball is down. Fritz kick is good. So now 7:21 left in the third quarter. It is Denver 17, Houston 14, and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Make it good, make it good, make it yours. Make it right for someone special. Make it magic, make it real. Make it natural like a mountain stream beside a green grass field. Make it big and bold and lusty like the ocean wind roars. It's what you always wanted. Make it yours. Make it good for the taste of morning sunshine. Make it good, make it right for you and me. There's no wide open sky. It's rocking on the high. Make it good, make it good, make it
That was a 56-yard drive for the Oilers. Pastorani to Burrow for 29 and the touchdown. That was after a good kickoff return by White Shoes Johnson. Put him in good field position at the 44, and a couple of Bronco penalties in there also aided and abetted the Oiler cause.
Schultz and Upchurch wait inside the 5. Dempsey will kick it off, as the Oilers have two place kickers and are using both. Dempsey angles it toward the near side, taken at the 9 by Upchurch. He is across the 20 and tackled at the 25. So Denver will start from the 25-yard line. Kurt Knopf, the former Bronco, downfield to make the play. Knopf was picked up, activated by the Oilers this week, and Craig Morton is back, Larry.
Well, they gave him just that little extra rest, and apparently Craig feels that he's able to come back, and back he comes. Kurt Knopf made a fine play there. He was actually blocked out, but was still able to get over and make the tackle.
Upchurch is stunned as he comes to the sidelines. Broncos start from the 25. Lytle and Perrin are the running backs. Dalton left, Moses in motion from the right, and the handoff is to Perrin. Good hole, 30, out to the 34-yard line. 9-yard gain. Courier and Alexander make the tackle. By the way, Moore, who was shaken up earlier, is back in at his cornerback spot for Houston. We've had a lot of people slammed down, banged up, but just about everyone has been back, and that now includes Morton. 2nd down and 1 Broncos from their 34.
You know, we talk a lot about the artificial turfs, but this is by far the worst that I've ever walked on, and I've been in this on the floor of the stadium several times. It's uneven and hard.
Both receivers left. Handoff is to Lytle. First down. He's over the 40, 45. Fumble. Ball loose. Bounces past the 50-yard line. Picks up back near the 35 by Moore. He's over the 40 and out of bounds on the far side of the field. Run out by Perrin at the Oilers 47-yard line. Lytle fumbled when he was hit. He had the first down. The ball went all the way across the 50, almost to the Houston 40. Moore picked it up, circled back, headed for the far sideline, and is out of bounds at the Houston 47. With 6 minutes, 26 seconds left in the third quarter. Now on the turnover, the Oilers have it at their own 47-yard line. Denver 17, Houston 14, but the pendulum is swinging again.
Yeah, Houston's getting it back. A good run by Lytle, too. Had a beautiful hole as he got the handoff from Craig on a trap. He was hit from behind by Ted Washington, and that's when he fumbled the ball, and Moore picked it up and got it finally out of bounds up at the 47-yard line. So it's going to be up to the defense to do its job again, and it's too bad because that fumble was tacked onto a good run by Lytle. Let's update the scoreboard for you. Cincinnati leads Kansas City 10-7 in the second period. Big game in Pittsburgh, and Seattle has tied up the Steelers 13-13 in the third period. Washington leads Buffalo 7-0 in the third period. New England 9, Atlanta 7 in the third period. Philadelphia and Dallas are tied 7-7 in the second period. The New York Giants have taken a 20-7 lead over St. Louis, and how costly that could be to the Cardinals. 20-7, Giants over the Cards in the third period. And it's San Francisco 7-0 over Minnesota. They're playing in the second period. Green Bay 10, Detroit nothing in the second period. Chicago and Tampa Bay still scoreless in the third.
Oilers again have that trips formation that has Coleman wide left and Carpenter the only setback. from their 47 after the fumble recovery. It is to Carpenter, and he is thrown down at the line of scrimmage. Rizzo came through and broke that one up beautifully. Alzado was right there also. No gain, second down, 10.
Great play by Joe Rizzo, coming in from behind to pull him down. And, of course, the defense right now trying to turn things back around. Denver had the better of the second period. Oilers have controlled the third period.
17-14. Denver by 3. Johnson wide left. Coleman and Burrow to the right. 2nd and 10 from the 47. Pastorini back to throw, looking to his right. The pass is upfield, incomplete. Intended for Coleman, who was hit immediately by Tom Jackson and dropped the ball.
Pastorini is now 6 out of 10 for 120 yards and the one touchdown, of course, to Burrow. Rushing-wise, Carpenter has been a workhorse. He's carried 16 times for 51 yards.
It seems as if Pastorini has thrown a lot more than that, doesn't it? He's had a couple of biggies in there, including a 29-yard touchdown pass to Burrow. Morton has thrown 2 touchdown passes to Odoms and Upchurch. Now it is 3rd and 10 for the Oilers at their 47. Same formation. Pastorini back on 3rd down. Blitz by Tom Jackson, and he throws it out of bounds. And let's see if we get the flag.
We did. The flag went down as Pastorini throwing it away. Tom Jackson on the blitz. Big play Jackson as he came through there to drop Pastorini. And Chavis was also through there, and they're going to call him for intentional grounding. Pastorini going back. He sees Jackson, tried to get away from him, and Jackson hauls him down. And he was throwing to absolutely no one.
Intentional grounding is loss of down, so it is 4th down. First sack of the ball game. Broncos have blitzed very little in this ball. The Oilers will have to give the football back to the Broncos. And Larry, that's just a clinic on what constitutes intentional grounding. It is throwing the ball away to avoid loss of yardage. We remember that from the San Diego game very well. You can throw it away to kill the clock anytime. But in that case, he was already on his way down on the sack by Jackson. And there's a fairly substantial loss of yardage involved, too.
Strictly a judgment of the official on that call, too.
Back to the 33-yard line. 4th, partially to punt from the 18. Upchurch waits at the Denver. 5:38 to play in the 3rd quarter. A high one. Upchurch backs. Has it at the 23. He is trying to cut left. Backs to the 25. Trying to get around the corner. He's over the 30, 35, 40 up the far sidelines and out of bounds in front of the Denver bench. Let's see where. Over the 40-yard line, certainly, and they are going to call it somewhere near the 42. 44-yard punt. But it was a good return
19 yards.
19-yard return by Upchurch. And so the Broncos get the ball back at their 42, and that's about where Lytle fumbled it. Denver's ball, leading 17-14. Starting from the 42 to John Keyworth, trying to thread his way into the middle. He gets 2 yards. Brazil at the 44. Gain of 2. 2nd down. 8 from the 44-yard line for Denver. Better call it 2nd and 9. They put the ball really closer to the 43. Jim Turner with a 42-yard field goal after the Oilers turned down a penalty that would probably have put Denver out of field goal range. Turner kicked the 42-yarder, and then the Oilers come back with a touchdown. Moses in motion from the right on 2nd down. Morton bootlegs it back, gets a block, throws the pass for Moses, juggling, caught. He is at the 40. He's at the 35 and at the 33-yard line. Haven Moses juggling toward the near side. Caught the ball, stayed in bounds, and turned it upfield. Alexander and Washington make the tackle on him at the Oiler 34. Fine play by Moses.
Yeah, Haven couldn't quite find the handle there for a moment. Good coverage by Alexander, who went on behind him as Haven turned around. He did the juggle act, and then Alexander had to quickly react, and he got there, as did Washington, to pull Haven down. But a good play all the way, and the Broncos are in business at the 34 of the Oilers.
It's wide to the left. The handoff is to the middle. Very little there. Carries it across the 32-yard line. Gets a couple on the play. And Denver has a 2nd down and 8-31-yard line. Young is the tackler for the Oilers. Denver at home next Sunday against San Diego. last regular season game at Mile High Stadium. Boy, the Giants are pouring it on the Cardinals, 27-7 in the fourth.
Sort of like what Miami did. Morton is now 9 out of 16 for 113 yards.
2nd and 8. Both receivers going left, Schultz and Dolben. Handoff is to Lytle. Cuts back into the middle across the 30 and is near the 27-yard line. 3rd down coming up for Denver. And 4 yards to go. Moses is back.
Cardinal Club has been a funny one, Bob. They started off very badly this year and then came on strong in midseason, and they seem to be really tapering off again. Atlanta has gone ahead of New England with a field goal. It's Atlanta 10-9 in the fourth period.
3rd and 4 for the Broncos. Lytle in motion to the left. Oiler 28-yard line. Morton is back. Throwing the pass for Moses. Gets a hand on it. It is incomplete inside the 10. Here comes Jim Turner again. Bill Courier was back on the coverage. Turner is 1 for 1 today. And now 10 of 15 for the season. This will be a 45-yard attempt for Turner, who was successful moments ago from the 42. It is a 4th down and 4 for Denver at the Oiler 28. Denver leading 17-14. 2:51 to play in the third quarter. This will be almost midway between the sidelines, and Weiss to hold at the 45-yard line. Ball is down. Turner's end-over-end kick. It is short. So the Oilers will take over at the 28.
Well, Houston stops up that Denver drive. We have 2 minutes and 46 seconds left to go in the third period. Denver continues to hold on to a 3-point lead, 17-14. Total yardage, Denver has now gained 232 with 16 first downs. The Oilers 214 with 10 first downs, and Houston quickly up to the line of scrimmage, and they're ready to go.
Carpenter and Coleman in the eye. Foster and Burrow in the slot formation to the right. They shift to the tee and start from the 28-yard line. Handoff is to Carpenter, driving across the 31-yard line. Gain of 3 by Carpenter. Randy Gradishar makes the tackle. Carpenter has been very busy since coming into the starting lineup the last few weeks. That was his 17th carry for 54 yards.
Rookie from Miami of Ohio.
At the 31, 2nd down. Between 6 and 7 yards to go. Coleman moves to that slot at the left, inside of Burrow. Foster wide right. Carpenter the only setback. Pastorini looking it over. And back to throw on 2nd down. Hops back some more. Steps to his right. Chase steps up in the pocket. Running with the ball across the 30 to the 32. And oh, is he ever slammed down by Lewis Wright. No game.
Didn't quite, he just barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Joe Rizzo had the pressure on him inside, and that's what he had to roll away from, and gets it out back to about the 32-yard line. Bob, Atlanta going ahead of New England. That's important for the Falcons, because if the St. Louis Cardinals go on to lose, Atlanta suddenly is back in the wild card situation, along with the Chicago Bears, who incidentally in the fourth period is still tied with Tampa Bay, 0-0.
Well, and a loss, double tight end for the Oilers now, 3rd and 6. A loss for New England takes them out of any mathematical chance of the playoffs, too. Oilers at their 32. Pastorini back on 3rd down, looking to the near side. The pass is caught one-handed and pulled out of bounds by Jimmy Giles. Giles made the one-handed catch and is out of bounds right near the first down marker, 37-yard line.
They're going to bring the chains all the way across the field. That was a fine catch. He ran right under Tom Jackson, and Jackson had to play off of him just a little bit. He hauled it in, and Jackson finally collared him. They bring the chains across. It's going to be right in front of the Bronco bench and difficult to see from here.
Yes, we're pretty well screened out of it as they stretch out the chain. That was a 3rd down play, so this is a big measurement. Giles, the big rookie tight end from Alcorn.
It's short. Assistant equipment manager Ronnie Bill stuck his head into the group there, and he comes back and held up an inch.
It is short. The Oilers are at their own 37-yard line. The fans in the stands want to make the call. Larry, it's an inch at the most. Short. And the Oilers do not send the punting team out. They want to go for it on 4th down at their 37-yard line. So Reuben Carter will replace Joe Rizzo in the Denver defense. 1:07 to play in the third quarter. Denver 17, Houston 14. Carpenter and Coleman are the running backs. They bring Hardiman in as a wing to the right side, double tight end. 4th and an inch. Pastorini in the call. Still in the count, trying to pull the Broncos offside. Sends Carpenter in motion. Still in the count. They may just be trying to pull the Broncos offside, and that's all they're trying to do. And we should get the delay of game whistle, and we do. All the Oilers tried to do was draw Denver offside. They had nothing else in mind when they came to the line of scrimmage. The Broncos did not buy it, and now the Oilers have a 4th down, 5 yards and 1 inch, and they'll punt.
And that shows respect for the Denver defense. The 5 yards apparently not meaning that much to the Oilers, and Denver held its ground. You could see, of course, you never know, right at the end there, they could have gone ahead and snapped the ball, feeling that they might have Denver sitting back, and that's something they decided not to do. But that's very, very trying on your nerves if you're standing out there on that defensive line.
Parsley now to punt. The Oilers decide to put 11 men on the field, and Hardiman comes out. Upchurch waits at the Denver 26. Parsley at his own 18. Now it's 4th down and 5. And Parsley kicks it deep. Upchurch, 19-yard line. And gets across the first tackler. He's over the 25 and snowed under at the 29. 48-yard punt by Parsley. Baumgartner is the one who makes the tackle. And the Broncos get the ball back at their own 29, leading 17-14, less than a minute to play in the third quarter.
Pittsburgh's gone back out ahead of Seattle. Field goal for the Steelers at 16-13, and they're playing in the 4th period. Cleveland and San Diego underway, and it's scoreless in the first period out there. And, of course, still to come later, the big one for Denver, Oakland and Los Angeles.
Jensen and Keyworth are the running backs. Morton faking the handoff. Lots of time. Throws to the near side. Moses makes the catch and is out of bounds at the Oiler 49. In front of Alexander along the near sidelines. Nice footwork by Moses, and the ball from Morton was right there. Moses was close enough to the sidelines. He had to concern himself that he stayed in bounds and then stepped out. First down at the Houston 49.
Craig bought a little time of the play-action fake to Keyworth and waited in there, and this Morton to Moses combination has become quite effective for Denver. Moses has, now caught 3 for 64 yards.
First down at the 49. Handoff Jensen, and he is shot down behind the line of scrimmage. Thrown back to the 45. Excellent play by Ted Washington. Reminiscent of what we've seen Tom Jackson do a few times. So the Broncos now have a 2nd and 16 from their own 45-yard line. They do not have to run another play in the third quarter if it doesn't please them, because the clock for the quarter is running 1 second ahead of the snap clock. Dalvin right. Moses left. 2nd and 16. Morton is back. Throwing the pass. It is a diving attempt and incomplete at the Oiler 45-yard line. Moses had gone a little deeper than that. Came back to try to get the ball and couldn't quite. Brazil was there on the coverage. That stops the clock with 7 seconds left in the third quarter. And now Denver at its own 45 has a 3rd down and 16. Could be important for Bucky Dilts whether or not he has the air conditioning at his back if they have to punt here.
That's one thing that is not a factor in here is wind. Doesn't really matter which way you're going.
Upchurch right. Moses left. Moses in fairly close. Keyworth and Jensen are the Denver running backs. 3rd and 16. Big pressure. Boom! And Morton is sacked inside the 35-yard line. Bill Courier got to Morton on the blitz at the 35. 1 second left in the quarter. And the Broncos, who had the ball at the Oiler 49, now are back at their 35. So it is 4th and 26. There's the gun. The third quarter is over. And after 3, it is Denver 17, Houston 14. A timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
There's a certain quality about some organizations that sets them apart from all others. You've seen it. It's that determination they have to make each effort really count. In our game, it may be the way the team works the boards or goes for a fast break. For us, it's an all-out effort game after game, so our fans will remain our fans. In the automobile business, there's a dealership here in Denver that gives the same kind of total effort in their business you've come to expect in ours. Sildahar Ford is earning a reputation among its customers and competitors for making a total commitment to customer service and assistance. As someone who really appreciates hustle, I salute the people at Sildahar Ford. I'm Carl Scheer, General Manager of the Denver Nuggets.
Why not begin 1978 by winning one of Ford's fantastic Fairmonts or an exciting trip to this season's Super Bowl 12 in New Orleans, January 15th, plus many other valuable prizes by taking the NFL Challenge. Licensed drivers should register now at Sildahar Ford, Highway 287 in Broomfield.
The Broncos have had excellent fourth quarter statistics all season. They have given up to their opponents 17 points in the fourth period. And they, in the meantime, have scored 54. And Bobby Anderson, who's keeping our statistics, pointed out that as the teams were changing ends of the field for the fourth period, Red Miller was holding the four fingers above his head and reminding them that it is the fourth period. The Broncos have said all along they feel like the fourth period belongs to them. I don't think from statistics and from the outcome of games that you can question that. Even the game that they lost against Oakland, they were the stronger team in the fourth period. So now Bucky Dilts will start it with a punt.
Johnson at his 25 at our left. Dilts the punt from the Bronco 20. 4th and 26. And there is the snap back. And Dilts kicks it across the 40. Johnson lets it hit. It is over the 30. And the Broncos down it near the 30-yard line. The spot will be just outside the Oiler 30. Might mention, too, Larry, that in the last 6 games, the Broncos have given up 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter. There is a flag on the play. Let's see what it's all about.
Probably a legal man down.
That seems to be the preliminary indication. Whether the Broncos will want to punt again. They're sending the punting team back out. So we'll see what they gain by all of this. That was not a particularly good punt by Dilts. It only went 35 yards, and the Oilers had some pressure on it.
Of course, there was no return, and that helped the situation. And with a receiver or a punt returner like White Shoes Johnson, I'm sure that's part of the Oilers' strategy is to try to get the return for Johnson. Illegal man downfield for the Broncos.
So now Johnson moves up to his own 40-yard line. He's not happy about something. 4th down and 31 for Denver. Snap back to Dilts. And the ball is coming back over the 40-yard line, is back over the 35, over the 30, to the 29, rolls to the far sidelines, and expires near the 27-yard line.
Flag down again, Bob. At the line of scrimmage. It should indicate the same thing.
Offside.
This time Houston. Offside.
Offside on the Oilers. Well, Johnson was really unhappy about something back there. He was gesturing. He was much closer to the line of scrimmage than he really wanted to be. And I think the Broncos will take the 43-yard punt this time.
I think so.
And let the Oilers start from their own 27. 14:40 left. Fourth quarter, Denver 17 and Houston 14.
And they do decline the penalty.
Turner had a 42-yard field goal in the third quarter to make it 17-7. And then Pastorini threw the 29-yard touchdown pass to Burrow. And that has made it now 17-14 and a timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Stay happy, have a happy day today. Work better, live better, the Capital Federal way. Make your money work for you to do the things you want to do. Think happy, stay happy, the Capital Federal way. Think happy, stay happy, have a happy day.
Now you skiers can think happy by saving $2 off the price of a lift ticket at Keystone just by showing your Capital Federal Savings Pass card. Reduced rates, too, on lessons, equipment rentals, and even overnight lodging. And these special discounts at Keystone are guaranteed to keep you thinking happy with your Capital Federal Savings Pass card account.
Well, in Tampa Bay, the Chicago Bears in the fourth period have kicked a field goal to break that scoreless tie. Bears 3, Tampa Bay nothing. It becomes a very important game for the Bears if the Cardinals go ahead to lose. As I said, they would be very much in the wild card picture, as with the Washington Redskins, as with the Atlanta Falcons. Pittsburgh has scored again. They're now ahead of Seattle 23-13 in the fourth period, and Cincinnati leads Kansas City 17-7 in the second period.
Oilers in a double tight end, and Hardiman a wing to the left side. Have Carpenter as the lone back. They pitch the ball to Burrow. Burrow coming back across the 25 and is pulled down along the near sideline, short of the 30-yard line. It was Burrow, not Hardiman, who lined up at that wingback position, and they tried to reverse the ball to him, running from left to right. Lewis Wright was the first one over on the play for Denver, and it's worth a little less than 2 yards to the Oilers as
Good
they
play
have the ball
by,
at the 29.
By Rizzo. Rizzo was making the chase on the play and forcing it to the outside.
2nd and 8 from the 29 for Houston. Line up in approximately the same formation, and Pastorini back, throws the screen. It is complete at the 30-yard line. Carpenter bumps off his own man. A flag as he crosses the 35 and is tackled near the 37-yard line, but the flag came from upfield, and let's see what it's all about. Rizzo makes the tackle again for Denver. See if we can get some kind of a preliminary signal. Looks to be on the Oilers, Larry.
Yes, it could be a hold or a clip. Let's not second guess, so wait and see.
Denver may want to see where that play ended because it was a second down play. Holding on the Oilers. Now Broncos will take it. Push the Oilers back.
Washington continues to lead Buffalo in the third period, 7-0. Atlanta 10-9 over New England. They're now in the fourth quarter. Dallas has gone back ahead of Philadelphia, 14-7 in the second period. Giants leading the Cardinals 27-7 in the fourth period. San Francisco 10-0 over Minnesota in the second. Green Bay 10-0 over Detroit in the third. And that sort of updates you on the scoreboard.
Now second down after the holding for the Oilers at their 24-yard line. Second down and 13. Loosen up the formation. Have Burrow and Johnson wide to the left. Foster wide right. And Pastorini rolling to his right. Looks. Throws it to the sidelines. Incomplete. Intended for Barber, off his hand. Covered by Swenson. But the pass is incomplete, and the Oilers have a third down and 13. 14:20 left in the fourth quarter. Broncos leading 17-14. As we take 10 seconds for station identification on the Denver Bronco Network.
From 4 to 6:30 p.m., hear the evening report on Denver.
Houston has now been penalized 9 times for 61 yards in the game.
Third and 13 from the 24. Pastorini. Pass up the middle. Complete short of the 30-yard line, and the play stops right there as the catch was made by Barber, the tight end, and Randy Gradishar, Joe Rizzo were both there. So the pass is good only for short yardage, leaving the Oilers with a fourth down at their 29-yard line, 8 yards to go.
New England has gone back out ahead of Atlanta, 16-10. Patriots have scored a touchdown and kicked the extra point there in the fourth period. You know, Bob, I was talking about the fact that it's important to Chicago to beat Tampa Bay because of the wild card, but if Minnesota goes ahead to lose to San Francisco, they could be tied for the lead in the Central Division.
Oh, absolutely. That's right. Parsley at his 15. Upchurch waits at the Denver 34. Parsley kicks it to the right side. Upchurch moves over, has it at the 30, 35, and is he green at the 38-yard line. He is really blasted down by Don Hardiman after a 41-yard punt. But the Broncos get the football, leading by 3, 17-14, 13:27 left in the fourth quarter, and the Broncos will be at their 38-yard line when we're back in a minute after this timeout on the Denver Bronco Network.
Heating
Heating and air conditioning use more energy than anything else in your home. But cooking is another major source of energy consumption. Public Service Company would like to pass along the following information to help you use your range more efficiently. For example, self-cleaning electric ranges have heavier insulation than standard electric ranges and thus use less energy. In fact, the amount of energy saved is equal to the amount needed cleanings a year. Something else to remember is that an oven needs only about 10 minutes to warm up. Longer preheating could be wasting energy. If you flame from the burner, should be blue. If it's orange, the burner may be clogged, cutting down efficiency. The hole should be cleaned with a pipe cleaner. And above all, as with any appliance, you should read and keep the instruction manual that came with your range. Public Service Company, providing the energy you need for the life you lead.
In that battle between Johnson and Upchurch certainly has the upper hand at the moment. He has had 4 punt returns for 58 yards, and his kickoff returns have netted 28. Shoes is -9 punt returns and 57 on kickoff.
Handoff is to Perrin, starting right, trying to turn the corner, and he is pulled down at the 41-yard line on the far side of the field. Got about 4. Willie Alexander makes the play. Right now, Perrin and Jensen are the Denver running backs. If you're joining us late, Otis Armstrong inactive today, along with Larry Riley. Remember, too, if you have not sent back your form on playoff tickets, they must be in by the 7th of December. That's next Wednesday. From the 41, second down 6. Jensen in motion left. And Morton back, looking, has Jensen wide open, now running to his right, throws upfield, and is caught by Moses at the 46-yard line in Houston territory. Jensen just kept going to the near sidelines where he was wide open, but not very deep. And Morton, rolling to his right, had some time, finds Moses for the first down at the Oiler 46.
He also had Odoms open on the right side, and one of the reasons, Bob, that he had a lot of time was excellent blocking. And Andy Morrow was a little slow to get up. Andy was doing a good job in sealing off the left side. San Francisco is surprisingly ahead of the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota, 17-0 now in the third period.
Denver leading 17-14. Handoff Jensen coming to the left side, bounces off one tackle, crosses the 45, but that's about it. James Young, who has been very busy today for the Oilers, making the tackle. He is playing a great deal in place of Elvin Bethea. Bethea, of course, is a tough guy to lose because he is Pro Bowl quality. Now 2nd and 9 Broncos. Oiler 45. 12 minutes left. Upchurch and Moses have come to the left. Perrin and Jensen are the running backs, and whoops, Craig Morton sees something he doesn't like, calls a timeout, and comes over toward the sidelines. So with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, a timeout is called. The Broncos will have 2 left. Timeout, with Denver leading 17-14. Back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Wow, McDonald coloring calendar. Thanks, Dad. You're the one. You've got our coloring calendar.
Give your kids the exciting new Ronald McDonald coloring calendar for 1978. It has lots of pictures of Ronald McDonald and all his friends to color. And it's a great way to help kids remember important dates. Plus, you get big money-saving coupons. The new Ronald McDonald coloring calendar for 1978. Money-saving coupons for you and a gift your kids will remember all year long.
Give your kids the coloring book that lasts the whole year long. The one that has a calendar too. You know you can't go wrong. At McDonald's, we do it all for you.
Get your coupon-filled Ronald McDonald coloring calendar today. Only 15 cents each while supplies last at participating McDonald's.
Morton back and is hit at the 49-yard line. That'll be about the 5th sack of the game. Ted Washington in on a blitz with James Young. So now Denver has a 3rd down and 13. And Penrose is coming back in. Morton shaken up a little bit on the play. And Penrose is coming in to replace Morton. but Morton says I'm all right. And Penrose will trot back off the field.
On the 4 yards on the play, third down.
Third down, Broncos at the Oiler 49.
Oilers are complaining about that.
And the Oilers are not happy. That's right. High formation for Denver. Flags down as Morton is back. Throwing the pass to Moses. He is at the 30, slips a tackle, cuts back, and is over the 25 to the 23. But let's see what the flags are for upfield.
Oilers had one of their defensive backs, Willie Alexander, was already all the way over in the Bronco backfield talking to the officials about the fact that Penrose went in and came back out again.
Illegal procedure on Denver. I think that may be it, Larry, because there was that situation a few years ago about sending extra people out on the field and who was actually going to be involved in the formation and the play, and then pulling people out at the last minute. And now somebody who reports has to stay in for a play.
Yeah, as I understand, that was Henry Stram that dreamt all that up at Kansas City. And teams got to putting 3 or 4 extra people out there and then running them off just before they broke the huddle, and the rule was made to prevent that. So Denver loses 5 yards on that, and I'm sure that's the illegal procedure.
Third down. Now the Broncos are at their 46-yard line. Third down and 18. Both receivers have come left. Morton back. Steps up. In trouble. He is back at the 41-yard line. Curly Culp getting through for the first time today. Morton got one quick look and didn't see anything. I really think Denver might have been better off to go ahead and make the change in that situation, never mind the penalty. But the loss now means that it's a little better chance for field position for the Oilers, because the Broncos are back at their own 40-yard line. 4th and 24. Billy Johnson waits at his 24. Bucky Dilts taking the snap from the 25. Kicks it high. Johnson coming up, lets the ball hit, bounces inside the 20, inside the 10, around the 5-yard line, inside the 5, and the Broncos down it at the 4.
Godwin Turk downs the ball, and what a job Bucky Dilts is doing. 56 yards on that punt and no return. Johnson has had only 1 return today, and that was for a -9 back in the first period. And now Denver has the situation. Remember what we told you before the 4th quarter started. Denver has always felt the 4th quarter belongs to them. Now the offense has sputtered a little bit here, but now the defense has Houston backed up inside the 5-yard line. And this is a great opportunity. The defense can be tough inside, in close, and keep the Oilers pinned back. Denver could come up with good field position. Morton has now been sacked 6 times. Bucky Dilts is averaging 49.7 on 4 punts. He's done quite a job.
Now Houston at their 12. Third down and 2. I formation. Coleman starts in motion out of it. Sets up as a slot back to the left side. Pastorini back on the 3rd down and 2. Throws the pass to the sidelines. Broken up and incomplete. And it was Foley who jumped up in front of Ken Burrow at the 22-yard line, who knocked it away. Burrow beat Foley badly on a touchdown pass early, but Foley got that one. And the Broncos have held in the Oilers now. 4th and 2 at their 12. Will have to punt the football with less than 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and Denver ahead 17-14.
And this is exactly the situation that Denver, in this chess game that's known as football, wanted to set up. They should be able to come out of this unless Parsley really unloads a great kick with fairly good field position, move the ball down, get the score, and run time off the clock. Let's see if it works that way.
The Broncos, Larry, have put 3 people back. Parsley is standing 3 yards into the end zone on the 4th down 2. Kicks it high. Upchurch moving back, has it at the 42-yard line. He's over the 45, trying to come outside. Nobody there, and he is driven back to the 45. He had the ball almost to the 50, gave a little yardage to try to get outside, and the Broncos will start from their own 46. That was a 46-yard punt by Parsley in a tough situation. So the Broncos now, 8:46 left in the 4th quarter. Denver 17, the Oilers 14. Offense try to run some time off the clock. Haven Moses to the right. Jack Dolbin comes left. Lytle is the tailback behind Keyworth. Armstrong not in uniform today, on the inactive list. Moses starts in motion. Handoff is to Keyworth, and Keyworth across the 50 to the Oiler 49-yard line. He took a step to his right, cut back inside, and gets 5. Brazil making the tackle at the Oiler 49.
Game 5.
Oakland will be playing at Los Angeles later this afternoon. That game will not start for a little while yet. Morton giving to Lytle, coming left on the sweep. He's across the 45 and has the first down at the 43. James Young made the tackle, and Lytle is shaken up a little bit on the play. He is flat on his back. Keyworth, one of those out in front blocking for him, along with the 2 guards, Glassick and Howard. And the blocking was excellent that time, Larry. They picked up what they wanted for the first down. So have it at the Oiler 43. And Rob Lytle, who has been playing hurt for the last month, now has 9 carries for 43 yards.
And they're working on his left knee. Rob usually goes down once a game. That's the way he plays it. But this one looks like it could be a little more disabling, although he's trying to shake it off and walk on it as they have him up on his feet. Great cut in by Lytle to move it down to the 43-yard line as he cut it upfield. And that's the thing that Red Miller really likes about the way Rob runs, but that knee does not look good. Looks like he can't put too much weight on it, and it'll be a little sore. They're going to bring him over to the bench. We have our first final score. New York Giants have defeated St. Louis 27-7.
Denver's down to 3 running backs. Bobby Anderson may have to suit up yet. Keyworth and Jensen are in now. Moses starts in motion out of the slot from the right side. First down at the 43. Broncos give the ball to Jensen, and he stretches it out to the 40-yard line. Straight ahead. Tackle was by Culp, and Jensen just flopped forward for a little more to the 40-yard line. 7:25 left in the fourth quarter. Broncos 17 and Oilers 14. Still flexing Lytle's left leg, treating it as if it were a cramp, Larry.
Jensen has now carried 8 times for 26 yards.
Certainly not treating it as if the knee were tender. Flexing the leg around. 2nd and 7 at the 40. This time it is Jensen, and he slices right for a couple of yards to the 38. So now Denver has a 3rd and 5 at the Oiler 38-yard line, inside the 7-minute mark.
It would be a little far out for field goal possibilities here. But with a good punt from Dilts could continue to keep Houston backed up. However, the big idea right now is to pick up that first down, and if they could do that, they would really help themselves.
Moses, Dolben left. Oilers have blitzed a lot on 3rd down. Morton back, steps up, has time, throws to Odoms at the 30. He cuts across the 20. He's at the 10. He is at the 5 and at the 4-yard line. What a fine run by Riley Odoms as he caught the pass on the far side of the field and carries it inside the 5. 1st and goal, Denver. Bill Courier makes the tackle.
Riley was bounced pretty good at the line of scrimmage. He had Keyworth running inside of him, and he got to the outside, got the pass, and escaped 1 tackle. He also then got around Steve Kiner, and just a fine run as Bingham was chasing him from behind, and finally caught, pulled down by Bill Courier. Great run by Odoms, who has now caught 5 passes for 79 yards.
1st and goal, 5-yard line. Tight formation for the Broncos. Keyworth and Jensen, the running backs. It is John Keyworth, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Dive over the top of everybody and just gets back to the line of scrimmage is all he does. Brazil, Culp, and Kirk. All help plug up the hole. Norris Weiss for the Broncos. And I think he is now the halfback.
Well, Martin is going to come out.
Morton is coming out.
Well, that makes him think about something down there, doesn't it?
Weiss works a little bit at some of those other positions back there. Morton comes out of the huddle. 2nd and goal. 2nd and goal at the 5. Moses in tight at the right side. Bootleg by Weiss. Running to the right. Gets a block. He scores. Morris Weiss. Bootlegging to the right side. And the Broncos lead 23-14 with less than 5 minutes to play.
Bob, it was the two guards, Glassick and Howard. And you should see the way they pulled out of there. Glassick, the pulling guard. They went to the right side, which is Howard's side. And it was Weiss with the ball on the hip. And I don't know how much more you could telegraph that. But it was just execution. That's what Vince Lombardi used to say. I don't care whether you know where we're going. We're just going to do it better. And great blocks by Howard and Glassick. And following him right into the end zone was Weiss.
Now some of the Oiler fans have decided this one is over. 4:58 to play. Jim Turner to attempt the extra point. Kick is good. So 4:58 to go. And now it is Denver 24. And the Oilers 14. And Larry, I'd like to finish up something I started a long time ago that Red Miller had talked to the league office on Friday regarding a call in last Sunday's game. A lot of the fans had been upset on that ball. They thought the Broncos had downed at the 1-yard line. Well, the punt hit the goal line, which meant it was in the end zone. The goal line, all of it is in the end zone. So that call was correct. That was a touchback when the ball hit the goal line. The one the Broncos were unhappy about was when it appeared that Craig Morton on a quarterback sneak near the end of the game had made it. The linesman marked the spot. The umpire came up and overruled him and said, no, that is not the spot, and moved the ball back, and Denver had not made the first down. The league agreed with the Broncos. The umpire has no right to overrule the head linesman in that position. The head linesman's call should count. But the umpire came up, overruled him, moved the ball back. The Broncos did not have a first down. Didn't cost anybody a ball game, but it was a point that Red Miller wanted to try to make, that certain officials make certain calls and that the umpire in that situation cannot come up and overcall the head linesman.
Actually, only the referee can do that, can he not, Bob? The referee is the head official in the crew, and I suspect he could overrule it, but only the referee can do that.
Yes, and the key point is that the umpire has a very bad look at that play. Right. The head linesman is right there at the plane. Now the kickoff by Perrin, sailing deep into the end zone. Johnson 4 yards in, he'll run it out anyway. He is across the 10. Heading left, gets by Jensen, but is he ever put down at the 22-yard line? A crushing tackle at the 22 by Randy Podol. And now the Oilers down by 10, 24-14, 4:49 to play in the fourth quarter. We'll start from their 22. Again, a reminder, if you have received from the Broncos the form to order playoff tickets, that form must be in by Wednesday the 7th. Cash or bank cards. Checks are okay, but there is no other credit available, no charging it, no part pay. Your orders must be in by Wednesday the 7th. Oilers from the 22-yard line. And Pastorini back to throw on first down. Pass is incomplete. It was intended on the near side around the 27-yard line for the tight end Barber, who was covered by Lewis Wright in that particular coverage by the Broncos. And it will be 2nd and 10 Oilers from their 22-yard line.
Well, Bob, I think that I pretty well quoted the script there a minute ago with the Bronco defense stopping the Oilers down inside the 10. They got it back in good field position. The offense then ran time off the clock and put points on the board. What more can you ask for?
Did it just right. The drive was about 55 yards, wasn't it?
Right.
Weiss running it in. Pastorini throws up the middle. It is a juggling catch out over the 37, called into the 40, into the 42. Joe Rizzo makes the tackle. That is the first down for the Oilers in a long time. Denver now has 21 first downs. The Oilers had 8 at halftime. Now have 11.
And let's see what Pastorini's figures look like now. He's passed for 152 yards, 9 completions out of 15 attempts.
And back to throw again. Looking. Throws it into the left flat. Diving attempt made at the ball by Carpenter, but did he catch it or trap it? They ruled it incomplete, which is a break for the Oilers. He caught it 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, was hit immediately by Swenson. And now it is a 2nd and 10 for Houston from their 42. Of course, the incomplete pass stops the clock. 4 minutes and 6 seconds remain. Broncos 24, Oilers 14.
They have only one final score in that we gave you a moment ago. The Giants beating St. Louis 27-7, but a couple of other surprises on the board. San Francisco 17-0 over Minnesota in the third period.
Oh, the gendarmes are escorting out a guy in an orange shirt. Pastorini throws it to the right side. Screen pass to Carpenter. 45 and out of bounds in front of the Denver bench near the 48-yard line.
well short of the first down. Randy Gradishar makes the play for Denver. Just a screen to the right side to Carpenter. He had some blocking and picked up some yardage on it, but with the ball now at the 48, the Oilers are looking at a 3rd down and 4, and less than 4 minutes to play. The clock stopped at 3:59.
3rd down, 5 to go.
Earl coming to the right side. Foster goes left. Carpenter and Coleman continue as the running backs. 3rd and 4 Oilers at their 48. Pastorini to throw. Being pressured, throws the pass to the far side and out of bounds. Incomplete. Broncos had a blitz on, and they got to Pastorini just as he was releasing the ball. Alzado came in and made the tackle, but the blitz was from the other side from Tom Jackson. And Pastorini just threw the ball away at the far side. 4th down and 4, and the Oilers have nothing to lose by going for it with a 10-point deficit and 3:55 left.
And more extracurricular activity continuing here in the stands, and I think some of the orange-clad fans are getting a little excited.
I think some of the Oiler fans are getting a little excited, too, the way things have been going. 4th and 4 Oilers from their 48-yard line. Pastorini sets up, deep setup, pressure. He's sacked, and the Broncos take over at the Oiler 35-yard line, where Barney Chavis gets the sack on Pastorini. That was a 4th down play, so the Broncos get the ball at the Oiler 35. And now the fans do head for the street.
What was it we were saying about the Broncos saying they own the 4th period? They have dominated the 4th period, both ways, defensively and offensively. That's the first sack for the Broncos, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Take it over at the 35. Morton is back in. Penrose was in to run one series at the start of the 3rd quarter after Morton had his shoulder bruise. Give the ball to Jensen. Jensen starts to the right, won't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Jensen and Perrin are the Denver running backs now. Lytle is standing up on the sidelines. He appears to be all right. Perrin was bruised up earlier and went back in. And now there's an injured Oiler.
This man who made the tackle, Alexander.
It will be a 2nd down and 10. They stop the clock with the injury at 3 minutes and 34 seconds.
Bob, San Francisco has gone ahead of Minnesota 24-0 in the 3rd period.
The Vikings have been in big trouble ever since Fran Tarkenton's injury. They play at Oakland next week. And I'm sure that they've been thinking all year about revenge for the Super Bowl, but I'm not sure they're in position now to do very much about it. We'll take 10 seconds for station identification right here. 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go, 4th quarter. Denver 24, Houston 14. Back in 10 seconds on the Denver Bronco Network.
News on the hour from CBS and from Denver.
As Bob mentioned, Lytle is back on his feet and has his headgear on, and he's standing right near the offensive coaches, and I think he's letting them know he can go back in if they want him to, and that's good news because Rod appears to be the only man seriously shaken up for Denver.
Denver has one wide receiver, Dalvin left. 2nd and 10. There's the bootleg by Morton, running to the 30, trying for the first down, but he stopped short at the 28-yard line. Bootleg to the right by Morton. Picks up 7 yards. 3rd down and 3. Greg Stemrick, the cornerback from Colorado State University, 5'11", 185, 3rd-year man, made the stop on Morton, tackled him at the 28-yard line. Now, Denver with a 3rd and 3. Moses in for Dalvin. And, of course, as much as anything, the Broncos just want to peel some more time off the clock.
You hold your breath every time Morton does that.
But, tell you what, he's
showing a lot of grit.
Broncos will fly back directly after the game. They're flying Braniff and are due back in Denver at 6. No fans will be admitted to the terminal. Morton back on the bootleg, looking, dumping off. It is to Odoms at the 20-yard line. Tries to spin free, but he has the first down. Another good catch by Odoms, having one of his best days of the year. Bill Courier makes the tackle. I know the Bronco coaches felt they could throw against the Oilers. And Morton
in percentage, is doing very well indeed. Now we're down to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, he has 13 out of 22, Bob, for 186 yards.
2 touchdowns.
1 interception.
We are at the 2-minute warning. The Broncos 24, the Oilers 14. We'll be back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Hey, come on in, you armchair quarterbacks. Take the Ford Dealer NFL Challenge. It's easy to play. You pick the teams you think will get most yards passing, most yards rushing.
The playoffs. They're at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 in Houston territory.
Moses left, Upchurch right. Egloff is now the tight end, and the handoff is to Jensen to the 15, a 5-yard gain. Broncos with the ball at the Oiler 15, 2nd down, 5 yards to go. The Oilers take a timeout. Steve Kiner made the tackle. Oilers use a timeout here. They'll have 2 left, but it's 2nd and 5 Broncos at the Oiler 15. Again, Denver is due back at Stapleton at 6 o'clock, and what the plans are, is there is any kind of a gathering out there, is because of all of the heavy traffic that is normal at Stapleton on a Sunday night. Bronco fans will not be inside the terminal, but will be asked to congregate on top of the south parking lot. They'll bring coaches and players over there, set up a public address system, and do that after the team comes home.
And of course, Denver will be in the air while the Oakland-Los Angeles game is going on, and we'll find out, I'm sure, somewhere between Houston and Denver, just how the Raiders did, because Denver could be the conference champions, or rather the division champion this afternoon if Los Angeles wins.
Perrin and Jensen, the running backs, both wide receivers to the right. Handoff is to Lonnie Perrin, and he'll go to the 13-yard line, just 2 yards straight ahead. And the Oilers now will use another timeout. The ball is at the 13, 3rd down and 3. Young made the tackle. We've had many phone calls, Larry, from our friends who broadcast the Houston Oiler games on radio, Bill King and Monty Stickles and their crew. And
you mean
the Oakland Raiders game. And they've been in constant touch with us to find out how this game is going. They're not very happy.
Isn't that too bad? Some more final scores, a couple of games just finishing. New England has defeated Atlanta 16-10, and the Chicago Bears have handed Tampa Bay their 26th straight defeat without a win. 10-0, Chicago over Tampa Bay.
Well, every coach in the league says the worst pressure of all right now is not to be the first to lose to the Buccaneers. The bumper stickers in Tampa Bay say, "Go for O." 3rd and 3, Denver. Both receivers are wide to the right. Handoff is to Jensen. He dives and should have the first down inside the 10. Jensen is at the 9-yard line, 1st and goal. A minute and 35 seconds to play. Denver leading 24-14. 1st and goal Broncos inside the Oiler 10. Dallas has wrapped up the division last week. They assured themselves of no worse than a wild card spot, but the Cardinals losing today, and Dallas has now taken care of all of that, although they're tied right now with the Eagles 14-14 in the 3rd quarter. And now the Oilers let the clock run. A minute 5 to play. Ball inside the 9. Handoff is to Jim Jensen, and he goes to the 7.
Washington 59 on stop.
Ball is at the 7-yard line, and the Oilers use their last timeout. Credit Culp with a tackle.
Bob, we were talking about Riley Odoms a minute ago with the great day that he's having. He's caught 6 passes for 85 yards, including one for a touchdown.
Riley is one of those premier people who rises to the occasion, who will play his best football in a game like this. And, of course, the fact that it's in Houston where he lives does not hurt. I asked him how much the game was costing him. He said 40 tickets.
I note on the sideline a couple of the old veterans of this football team, and it's really interesting. Billy Thompson and Paul Smith had Fred Gerke between them and giving him a bear hug. And that's a bear hug when those two guys get on either side of you, I'll tell you.
Speaking of old Broncos, it was a pleasure to see Charlie Johnson last night. Charlie, of course, lives in Houston in the offseason.
Gerald Phipps is on the sideline. The Broncos have clinched a playoff spot, and that's what they're so happy about.
2nd and goal at the 7. Draw play. And the ball to Jensen. He drives to the 2. Tackle at the 2-yard line. Steve Kiner. And now 44 seconds remain.
And Jensen a little bit slow to get up.
He is woozy. Well, that's been the story for people slammed around on that turf out there today. Not sure that he is ready to play. Odoms comes in. Keyworth comes in.
Odom's limping a little bit, I note.
A lot of people banged up.
And Lytle's going to come back in. I guess that answers the question about his knee.
Lytle is in for Keyworth. And Keyworth leaves as the Broncos have a 3rd and goal at the Houston 2. 10 seconds to play. 24-14 Denver. The handoff is to Lytle. Lytle dives and is stopped short of the goal line at the 1-yard line, but that's all. Merry Christmas, Denver. The Broncos are in the playoffs. Denver 24, Houston 14. We'll be back in a minute on the Denver Bronco Network.
Today's episode is brought to you by thisdayinthenfl.com. Celebrating football's greatest moments, one day at a time. Listen to classic broadcasts, explore historic games, and keep the legacy of the NFL alive at thisdayinthenfl.com.